What's up, San Diego?
San Diego, turn it up. From the dugout to the sidelines, from the front office to the fan in the stands, this is where San Diego sports comes to be heard.
College athletics is the gift that keeps on giving. This is why I love this stuff.
He's not just talking about the game, he's driving the conversation, breaking it down, calling it out, and saying what everyone else won't.
They start licking their chops, man, when they hear like, oh, look at all these guys the Padres could potentially trade.
This is the voice San Diego sports trusts on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
We're your favorite show's favorite show.
This is the Braden Surprenant Show.
Think about the children, the family show.
Now, here's Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego, and happy Wednesday to everybody out there in America's finest city. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We're used to being down at the Loft on a Wednesday. We had a 5:40 game tonight.
Yeah, I know. This is kind of bull. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, what the heck, man? Come on. What happened to our preempted show this week? Padres playing a night game tonight against the Atlanta Braves. Padres trying to go for a sweep, which is very impressive considering all circumstances of how the team has been playing in May and for all of June. I think it's interesting considering the fact that the Padres have just been not playing that well overall. And on top of the fact that you're going against one of the best teams in the National League in the Atlanta Braves. Now, yesterday started off incredibly rough. In fact, I saw a lot of people out there saying the game was over. I might have said that on my living room couch too, after the Braves put up 4 runs on Griffin Canning in the second inning. And we're going to talk about Griffin Canning in just a little bit. I mean, I don't know how many more times you can continue to roll out that kind of production out of a starting pitcher and be and try to be successful. I just sometimes a lot of these moves, okay, work out, and sometimes they don't. And right now, it doesn't really seem like the Griffin Canning move is working out. I mean, Lucas Giolito has not had as many starts as Griffin Canning. And honestly, like metric-wise, like Canning's been better than Giolito. But I think you got to give maybe Giolito a couple more starts. It's getting worse for Canning, and I don't necessarily know it's ever going to get better. I mean, that's kind of where we're at right now with Griffin Canning. I mean, yesterday, and this is what I'm talking about. I mean, it'd be one thing if he gave up 4 runs over the course of like 4 or 5 innings. It's like, it's not great. You don't want that. But you already used an opener yesterday. And Wandy Peralta was great as an opener. He's been great as an opener. But you have to use an opener for this guy to pitch. And then he gives you 2/3 of an inning. And he gives up 4 earned runs. I mean, I don't care who you are or what player you are. I don't care how much money is tied into that player, which is not a lot for Canning in the grand scheme of things. I don't know how you can continue to do that if you're a team that is trying to play for a playoff spot. And not only that, I'm telling you right now, there's not a lot of teams that are surviving with their starting pitcher going 2/3 of an inning, 4 earned runs on 4 hits with a walk and a hit batsman. I just a 7.38 ERA. That doesn't work anywhere. That doesn't even work for teams that aren't even trying to win. That's where you're at right now with Griffin Canning. So I don't know what they're going to do with him. We're going to take a look at his underlying metrics in a little bit in this hour. But that was kind of the negative of yesterday. And the Padres, they're down 4-0. After they only had 1 at bat before they were down 4-0. I mean, the first inning, Wandy Peralta, 1 inning, 2 punch outs. Looked great. It's the top of the second inning. The inning went so long, I'm sitting there going like, man, the Padres are already struggling, don't have any hits as they went to the commercial break. And I'm like, wait a minute. They've only had 1 opportunity to swing the bat. But then, you know what? Give the Padres offense credit. The Padres offense is starting to heat up a little bit, which is what they've been saying for the last couple of months. It's got to be more sustained than just a couple of days and just a road trip where they started putting up a little bit more numbers offensively. But Fernando, 2 for 5. Samad Taylor, who didn't get a hit 2 days ago, got 3 more hits yesterday. He's 3 for 4. Merrill, 1 for 4. Manny Machado had the walk-off hit. He was 1 for 5. You even got some contributions from the bottom of the lineup, and Duran and Song both got a couple of hits. So the Padres offense showed what they could potentially be. They showed the comeback spirit that we've seen them have all season long. But for the Padres to give up 4 runs in the second and then answer with 5, I mean, they reversed what happened in Texas. It's truly remarkable that they have had a game like that twice in the last 4 games, one in their favor and one not in their favor. But the Padres answered with 5, and you know what? Atlanta got 2 more runs back, one in the 4th, one in the 5th. Fernando tied it up with a solo home run, his 3rd of the season, in the 7th, and then Manny Machado walked it off in the 10th. I mean, right now, at this point in the year, you are trying to just get wins however way you could do it. The fact that you just took 2 out of 3 minimum against Atlanta is huge. The fact that the Padres seem to just own the Atlanta Braves here at Petco Park and on the road for that matter. I mean, sometimes you just got somebody's number. And if you're the Padres and you're Padres fans, you can't be complaining about that. We'll take it. So Padres get a victory last night. They're now 41-37. They're 9-11 in this month of June. And they have 3 games against the Dodgers left. One of that's 4 or 5. They got 6 games left. 6 games left. They got to go 4-2 in their next 6 games, and they will finish 500 in the month of June in terms of the overall record. And what did we say at the beginning of this month, Frank?
Let's go 500 for the month.
Go 500 for the month. You're back to where you were last year going into July. So I think that's obtainable. Obviously, that's going to involve at least beating the Dodgers once. But it would be nice to try to just continue this hot streak, send Atlanta home with a sweep here in San Diego, which would be great. I just think it's going to be a tough ask today for the Padres to be able to continue what they did. But overall, Frank, last night's game, it showed a lot of the good things about them being a comeback team. The problems are still there, but that's a good, solid win for the Pods yesterday, especially after they've taken the first 2 games of the series against a team that's in first place in the NL East.
And we talk about the Padres getting out to a lead and then the other team responding and then taking the lead right after that. Well, the Padres did that last night. Bravos put up 4 in the second inning, and then the Padres answer with 5. It's very easy at that point to just roll over and know we have a long night ahead of us, especially with a team as good as the Atlanta Braves are. It's very easy to do something like that. So good on them for responding. Now, they didn't get another run until the 7th inning, but even still, I mean, that's a game that could have gotten very out of hand early, but they responded immediately in a big way.
Yeah, that was huge. I mean, if Atlanta throws up a 0 there, that we've seen that Padres game multiple times, throughout the year. But I liked what Wandy Peralta did. But at this point, Frank, I mean, what's the point of the opener if the starting pitcher in the next inning gets lit up? And we've seen that now with Giolito and with Canning. Giolito yesterday got placed on the injured list. They brought JP Sears up. I mean, he's expected to start tonight for the Padres. The starting pitching situation is it's so up and down. They're going to need a good outing out of Randy Vasquez. They're going to need a good outing out of Walker Buehler coming up against the Dodgers this weekend. And it's going to be tough, I think, in this stretch. But you know what? We talked about this being a big week for the Padres. The fact that they've taken the first 2 games, I think is great. And it's like at this point, you are looking for wins. And to go on top of that, there's been a lot of people that are like, well, they still have these problems. They have this problem. They have that problem. At this point, Frank, those problems either get internally fixed by the players playing better or the trade deadline. And you're not close to the trade deadline enough yet to start making just moves. wins are all that really matters right now for the San Diego Padres, not how they win.
No, exactly. And I mean, injuries have mounted in problematic areas, but that's again, that's something that every team is fighting right now. That's something that everyone is going to have to deal with. The pitching the starting rotation starting to slip. You knew it was going to eventually. We knew that we were getting more than what this rotation was supposed to be at the beginning of the season. The bullpen is still doing its thing, and the offense is now starting to come around, given enough time. So they're playing right about where they should be right now. Absolutely.
The offense is coming around, as we mentioned before. I mean, there's been some signs of life in the starting rotation. Obviously, Michael King a couple of days ago. Walker Buehler's been fantastic in a Padres uniform. Got to get Randy Vasquez back to what he was. And I'm curious to see what JP Sears does. I mean, see how he does after spending a long time in AAA this year. Again, I wouldn't really look too far into the ERA of JP Sears in the minor leagues. I would look more at the strikeout to walk rate and all that other stuff. But, like the Padres right now, and this is like, I see the narrative too, like from fans. They're like, yeah, we won, but like we still have the same problems. You're going to get some of this stuff fixed at the deadline. But at this point, like a lot of the things that have been addressed, we all know that are problems. They're not going to just magically disappear. So like right now, especially against a good team like Atlanta, you can't really be upset with wins or how they win. I mean, you really can't. So Padres try to go for a sweep tonight. We'll get you covered. We'll get you a preview of that later on in the show. We do want to talk about Griffin Canning when we come back. We're just getting started. Padres 41-37 after taking games 1 and 2 against the Atlanta Braves on the Braden Surprenant Show. Setting Summer Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. NFL minicamps are over and training camp storylines are already taking shape. In Chicago, Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson are building strong chemistry as the Bears focus heavily on improving Williams' accuracy. Minnesota has a fascinating quarterback battle brewing between Kyler Murray and J.J. McCarthy, while Atlanta's competition between Tua Tagovailoa and Michael Penix Jr. will finally heat up in camp. Buffalo players are loving new head coach Joe Brady's relaxed approach, but can he balance being a player's coach with maintaining discipline? Denver is already raving about new receiver Jalen Waddle. Cleveland's rookie receivers have impressed, and San Francisco may have found a hidden gem in rookie linebacker Jaden Duggar. As teams head into summer break, biggest questions remain at quarterback, and training camp can't get here soon enough. As teams wrap up mini camps and head into summer break before training camp, every organization now has a clear picture of where things stand. OTAs and minicamp don't determine championships, but they often reveal storylines that become major themes once the regular season begins. From quarterback battles to coaching philosophies and emerging stars, NFL's offseason program gave us plenty to talk about. Let's start with the quarterback position, Frank.
Yeah, the quarterback situation remains front and center throughout the league. In Arizona, new head coach Mike LaFleur still doesn't have clarity under center. Jacoby Brissett's contract dispute kept him sidelined during practices, leaving Gardner Minshew and rookie Carson Beck to take most of the reps. It's hardly an ideal start for a team trying to establish a new culture. In Atlanta, the quarterback battle between Tua Tagovailoa and Michael Penix Jr. is still unresolved. Penix was limited while recovering from an ACL injury, so training camp should provide the first true opportunity to determine who wins the job. Minnesota is setting up another intriguing battle. Veteran Kyler Murray is learning Kevin O'Connell's offense while J.J. McCarthy continues to develop. Expect that competition to continue deep into camp. Meanwhile, Vegas is taking the patient approach with number 1 pick Fernando Mendoza. Veteran Kirk Cousins appeared to be poised to open the season as the starter while Mendoza develops behind the scenes. Things going quite well in Chicago right now, if you're not talking about stadium issues, though.
Yeah, they're continuing to build around Caleb Williams, and that's perhaps no player is more important to his franchise right now than Caleb Williams in Chicago. Ben Johnson has made improving Williams' accuracy and ball placement a major priority. Williams completed just 58% of his passes last season, ranking last among qualifying quarterbacks. Throughout the offseason, coaches evaluated virtually every throw, and the chemistry between Johnson and Williams appears strong, which should encourage Bears fans entering year 2 or year 3 of the quarterback's career. Elsewhere, the Lions are seeing Penei Sewell evolve into the unquestioned leader of their offensive line. At just 25 years old, Sewell is already becoming a foundation of Detroit's locker room, but new coaches are starting to establish their identity as we head into summer camp.
Yeah, several new coaches and coordinators have already left their mark. Buffalo's Joe Brady is bringing a much different atmosphere than Sean McDermott did in upstate New York. Players have embraced his relaxed style with team building competitions and a lighter environment becoming the norm. The question remains whether Brady can balance being a player's coach while maintaining discipline in that locker room. In Baltimore, offensive coordinator Declan Doyle, has wasted no time demanding accountability, despite being only 1 year older than Lamar Jackson. Doyle has challenged his quarterback and veterans alike. And in Dallas, they are also excited about first-time defensive coordinator Christian Parker. Early reviews suggest communication issues that plagued the Cowboys last season have already immensely improved.
Young talent is making a lot of early impressions. Several young players turned heads this spring. Denver's addition of Jalen Waddle has energized the Broncos offense. Coaches already excited about how he can elevate Bo Nix's development when Bo Nix, in fact, comes back from a brutal injury last year in the playoffs. In Cleveland, rookie receivers Denzel Boston and Casey Concepcion impressed throughout practices, providing hope for an offense that desperately needed playmakers. Miami is counting on year 2 breakout for defensive tackle Kenneth Grant to improve on one of the league's worst run defense. And in San Francisco, the rookie linebacker Jaden Duggar has emerged as a dark horse to contribute immediately thanks to his size and athleticism. Seattle's running back situation has become one of the more fascinating competitions in the league, with rookie Jadarian Price and George Alani battling to replace much of Kenneth Walker's production. But contenders starting to fine-tune for another run as we take a look at defending Eagles, or actually a couple of defending champions ago, Philadelphia Eagles receiving good news this spring.
Yeah, their offensive line is healthy and adapting to a more wide zone scheme under new coordinator Sean Mannion. Lane Johnson.
Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios, we know how. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show. Static is number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Good to be with all of you today. Great to be talking Padres victories. We've had 2 in a row. If we win one more, that's called a winning streak. Do we need to get that drop? I hope it didn't come to us having to get that drop. But you know what?
It has happened before.
It has happened before. It has happened before. So, anyway, let's get to some more on last night's game. And I want to talk about and this was written in Kevin Acey's newsletter about Padres still having that never out of it DNA. And I think that's valuable. At the beginning of the season, it's not sustainable for the whole season, but I do find it to be valuable if you're able to continue to win in other ways, because that's the most difficult way to win. And if you've never done it before, it's hard to just turn it on and be able to do it late in a game, or should I say late in a season. There's something to that. So when the Padres still have that never out of it DNA, I think it bodes well. I mean, the Padres this season, 20 comeback victories. They had their 6th win last night when trailing by at least 4 runs. I mean, think about how crazy that is. Think about all the stats that we've laid out there about, teams that score first and when and how likely they are to win. Teams that win 75% of the time in Major League Baseball score more runs in one inning than the opposing team does in the entire game. That's another one. So you think about all those, and like scoring first is huge and scoring early is huge and all that other stuff. And to see the Padres have had 6 wins when trailing by at least 4 runs this season, it's honestly incredible. There are only 4 teams that have more comeback wins than the Padres this year, and no team has more wins from 4+ runs behind. Now, the Padres became known for this in their early late game magic, but that pace is impossible to maintain. So through May 13th, they were 25-17. More than half of their wins came in the 7th inning or later. 8 victories came in their final offensive inning. Since then, the Padres are 16-20 and only 3 wins in their final offensive inning. 5 wins decided in the 7th inning or later. So when you saw April and you saw that the Padres found ways to just, when they were just coming back and winning games, yeah, it's a little bit of a fluke. That's not something you could do the entire season. But Frank, I do believe that does bring value late in the season because it gives you that sense of confidence of no lead is out of reach for us, even though it seems like it had been over the last month or so, because it seems like every time the Padres scored or Padres didn't score first, it was going to chalk up an L.
Oh, for sure. And it does give you a sense of comfort that you are battle tested, especially going into the latter parts of the season where wins like that are going to matter. You're right. It's not sustainable. You can't be fighting from underneath every single game, but knowing that you have that ability to get out and to be able to get back to even and take a win, especially the way they did it in extra innings, just able to shut down in the 10th inning. Mason Miller going 2 innings last night. First time he's done that, I think, since 2024, if I remember hearing that right on the broadcast. And then first pitch, done. I mean, that is a very nice ability to know that you have in your back pocket if and when you need it.
I mean, last night's win was a perfect snapshot of what this team has been this year. I mean, they fell behind early. Their starting pitching put them in a hole. Their offense struggled with runners in scoring position early. Their stars failed in big moments before finally delivering. Their bullpen carried most of the pressure, and they found a way. I mean, Fernando Tatis Jr. quoted in the daily newsletter by Kevin Acee was, quote, we're staying together as a team. It's as simple as that. We are working together. I mean, that I think that matters. I really do. I know a lot of people don't like, I mean, I know a lot of people think that's more important, like high school and college or like with the youth. I think it still matters at the major league level. I think this team and the camaraderie they have definitely matters. Look out, Bo Bichette. Jeez. I look up for like a half a second to the game up there. Squirrel. Bo Bichette launches his bat into the netting. The one time I look up to see what your Mets are doing. Bo Bichette. Get some Tiger Balm on that thing, dude. Let's go. Got to put some pine tar on that thing. Anyway, I think all of those things help you late in the season, but as mentioned before, it's not sustainable to do it every single night, especially early in the year.
No, it's definitely not. And that's the value, by the way. We remember the article that came out about 3 weeks to a month ago about Gavin Sheets and what he's done to bring that clubhouse together off the field. That is an invaluable trait. That is an invaluable quality to have. That is massively important to know that these guys have that bond with each other and have that closeness to know that, all right, this guy, he's got my back. I want to do as much as I can to help this team on the field, but if I don't, he's got me. The next guy in line has me. That's a massively important psychological trait for this team to have.
And I thought this team has been struggling with that all year of like fully trusting the next guy. It just seemed like too many fans, or not too many. It just seemed like too many of the Padres, you would get like one guy to pass the baton and then the next guy would try to do too much himself. And right now they're not doing that. They're actually, trusting each other a little bit more than they had been in the past. And a lot of that, I think, is Manny Machado. And he's starting to become Manny Machado again, which is great to see. I mean, he struggled early. I mean, if you just looked at yesterday, last night's game represented his entire season. He had, he struggled early in his 4 previous at-bats. He had multiple opportunities with runners in scoring position. He failed to deliver in all 4 of those at-bats. And then came the moment. In the 10th inning, first pitch from Braves closer Raisel Iglesias, line drive up the middle, game-winning hit for Manny Machado. And, Machado's embraced the idea that opponents still have to fear him. And I think that's legit because, you can hear from Manny and he's got his, I would say, I wouldn't want to call them arrogant quotes. They're more of confident quotes of, because I'm Manny bleeping Machado, because, back in my baseball card, like all those quotes that we've heard over the years. I mean, his recent one yesterday was, you see the back of my jersey and you're going to know who I am. Not because I'm bleeping Manny Machado. I'm too good. I will figure it out. That was back in 2024. But both times that Manny had those confident quotes, Frank, he followed those statements with dominant stretches. So maybe this is the beginning of a dominant stretch. But if you look at what he has done in his last 12, 13 games, I mean, he looks a lot more like Manny Machado than he did in the first 2 months of the season.
Yeah, he absolutely has. And it's been ever since that article came out that really all the questions as to why he was going so poorly were answered. When all of his numbers are right about the same as what his career was, all the analytics are right about the same as to what his career averages were, there was something missing, and that was it. Now he's getting back to his old self. He's starting to feel it, and he's been playing fantastically over the course of the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, if you look at his last 13 or so games, I mean, it's been a lot better. It's been a lot better for Manny. He's hitting, it's up to 260. He's hit 269 in his last 13 games with a 577 slug, which gives him a 905 OPS. He has 3 home runs, 11 RBIs, 7 doubles. Manny's been doing really well. He's been playing a lot better, which is great to see because you need to see these stars be able to do that time in and time out. And, that I think that leads to Fernando kind of accepting his new identity. The biggest development with Tatis, it might not be the home runs, but, he has stopped chasing the player everyone expects him to be. And he seems like the player that he is born to be. I mean, he hit a 410-foot home run last night, 107-mile-an-hour exit velocity, game-tying blast in the 7th inning. That was only his 3rd home run of the season, though. And for a player who has always been defined by power, accepting that he may need to win differently has been a challenge. And I think he's embraced it. And he even said that yesterday, post-game. It's part of maturity. It's not easy to accept that, especially because it's been a big part of my game for my entire career. And the encouraging numbers are there. Last 27 games for Fernando, 366 batting average, 400 on base, 527 slug, raised a season average of 48 points. And on the season, he's now hitting 286 with a 370 slug. He has 155 career home runs, and he's now 5th all time in Padres history, passing Dave Winfield. He's also close to passing Dave Winfield in overall Padres WAR too, Frank. I mean, Fernando, the power hitter, I used to say he wasn't a power hitter because of his swing. And my thing is with this, and people always like freak out. They go like, "Oh, he's a power. What are you talking about? He hits home runs." Hitting home runs does not make you a power hitter. Fernando to me is an all-around hitter, and I think he's fully embracing that now. And sure, his home runs have gone way down than what we used to. But he hits the living you-know-what out of the ball, and he's continuing to drive the ball to all fields. I mean, that is a pure hitter. And when you're athletic as Fernando is, that creates a lot of chaos on the bases. That creates a lot of chaos with your offense.
Yeah, and you have 2 players on this team that are going through a career renaissance right now. You have Fernando, who's kind of coming out of that 40 home run hitter kind of mentality. And you also have Walker Buehler, too, who's coming out of that I'm going to gas every pitch by you and become more of a pitch mix thinking man's pitcher. So it's interesting to see how those two have been able to conform to their new roles from what they're used to in their career and how they both kind of had it click at around the same time.
I mean, as a Padres fan, would you rather see Fernando chase 40 home runs or be this version of a complete hitter? Like, would you rather have him be the guy that's hitting a lot more home runs, but his average is lower and it's boom or bust home run wise, or be the solid complete hitter? I mean, based on his tools, it's fun to watch him hit gap to gap. It's fun to have him hit opposite field. It's fun to have him, rope the ball all over the place. And I think eventually, as we talked about it, being a complete hitter, home runs will start to come after you establish that. But when you are a boom or bust guy, there's some seasons where you turn into a bust. I mean, look at Cal Raleigh, for instance. I mean, he's been awful this year. And he was on a record-setting pace last year when it comes to home runs. He was in a home run battle with Aaron Judge for the entire season, trying to be the American League MVP. And this year, what is he hitting? Like, he's still hitting under 200, isn't he not?
Cal Raleigh, 8 home runs, 21 RBIs. Brother is hitting a
$164.
When you become the complete hitter, the home runs will come. When you are just boom or bust home runs, I mean, we've seen players like that. They're not always the best. And unless you're a guy like Kyle Schwarber, who can do it at a very consistent basis, I'd rather see Fernando be a complete hitter.
Let's look at these numbers. 183 at bats, 30 hits.
Is that Cal Raleigh?
Yes. It's the end of June. He has 30 hits.
He has missed time, though. He has missed a little bit of time with injury. But
Yikes.
That's 30 hits. He was at 30 home runs at this time last year.
Was he actually? He might actually be at that.
He might have actually.
Could have been further than that. I got to look that up during the break.
Yeah, and he at or around 30 home runs this time last year. He has 30 hits this year.
That's amazing. All right, so hold on. It's I'm gonna go look.
June 24th.
It's June 24th. What? I guess he hasn't played that many games, but
no, he has been hurt this year.
How many games has he played in?
48.
48 games.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so last year, through his 48th game, Cal Raleigh had 16 home runs.
Double what he has now.
Yeah. He was hitting 250 though. I mean, at 954 OPS, it was because he was hitting 10. He had 10 doubles and 16 home runs at that point. But
what did he have on June 24th? Just out of pure
on June
curiosity.
24th?
Yeah, just on this day last year.
June 24th last year, Cal Raleigh had how many hits does he have?
30.
He had 32 home runs at this point last year. 81 hits. He missed time, so it's not.
No, yeah, right. He did, but still, on this day last year,
he had 32 home runs. On this day, on today, he has 30 hits. I mean, it's amazing when these things happen. This is what happens in baseball. This is why we say all the time: if you have an opportunity to, if you're a team that is winning, and you're around the conversation at the trade deadline, you should always go for it because you never know what your players are going to do the next year. And Cal Raleigh has just had a fall from grace. Griffin Canning has also had kind of a fall from grace. Not that it was that high to begin with, but he had a great year last year until he got hurt. And so far, it's getting from bad to worse for Griffin Canning. We'll talk about last night's outing for him when we come back. College sports may be one step closer to federal regulation. A major bill called the Protect College Sports Act just passed a key Senate committee and could completely reshape the future of the NCAA. Bill would restore some power to the NCAA, enforce spending caps, regulate transfers, and create national NIL standards. But here's the biggest fight. The SEC and the Big Ten aren't fully on board. Why? Because the bill could limit their financial advantages and potentially reshape how television money is distributed. It also aims to stop the formation of a college football super league. So now the question becomes, should the richest conferences decide the future of college sports, or should Congress step in to protect everyone else? Because one thing is becoming obvious. the future of college athletics may no longer be in the NCAA's hands. One of the biggest stories in college athletics this week happened on Capitol Hill. The proposed Protect College Sports Act advanced out of the Senate Commerce Committee with a bipartisan 19-9 vote, moving one step closer to potentially becoming federal law. The legislation, introduced by Senators Ted Cruz, Maria Cantwell, now heads towards the Senate floor, where it would still need 60 votes to pass. The bill represents perhaps the strongest attempt yet to bring order to a college sports landscape that many administrators believe has become increasingly chaotic.
Yeah, the legislation would provide the NCAA with antitrust protections and restore some of its authority after years of losing legal battles. Among the provisions, it would allow the NCAA to limit transfers and eligibility, enforce spending caps tied to athlete compensation, preventing coaches from leaving schools during the season, require schools to preserve women's sports and Olympic programs, create national NIL standards instead of a patchwork of state laws, and it would also provide health protections for athletes. Supporters say this bill would give college sports a much needed bit of stability. Meanwhile, critics argue that it could give the NCAA too much power again and potentially restrict athletes' rights.
You need rules for competition, though. Like,
Yes.
that's the thing. It's like, I mean, yeah, the grand scheme of things, like a lot of these rules in place in all leagues restrict athletes' rights to an extent, but like there's rules in place for sports that you need. This is not any other business. This is a sports-driven business with competition. It changes the dynamic of things. So it's interesting that's like, if that's the biggest argument against it, I don't see how that's going to win out in the grand scheme of things, just as much as we talk about when it comes to the labor negotiations in Major League Baseball. Now, here's where things get interesting: the TV rights and battle over revenue. This is the most controversial aspect of the legislation because it involves television rights. The bill creates a pathway for all FBS schools to pool future media rights together, potentially creating a more balanced financial system across college athletics. Supporters believe this could generate billions and reduce the growing gap between conferences, but that's where resistance begins because the two wealthiest conferences, the SEC and the Big Ten, have withheld their support. In a joint statement, both conferences said revisions are still needed before they can endorse legislation. Their concern is simple. They don't want to sacrifice the massive financial advantages they've built through their own television deals. Well, if you're going to sit there and tell me everything about these are student athletes, we got to make more rules about the competition, everything like that, you can't then go on your high horse and then talk about, oh, well, we still want to make as much money as humanly possible. Like, we got to collectively fix all of these problems. You can't pick and choose when you want rules.
Now, as you know, I am an unofficial member of the Big Ten PR staff. This bill needs to go through. I don't care what the Big Ten wants to say. I don't care what the SEC say. This is something that needs to happen because what you're going to do is you're going to drive a wedge between what the fans of your sport want to see and where the moneyed interest is. It's ridiculous at this point. Can we please just do something, one and singular thing for the people watching it and not focus entirely on the profit motive, please, just with one thing. So now what we're trying to do with this legislation here is prevent a super league, a college football super league. Another major component of this bill targets the growing fear of a breakaway super league. The latest version includes language designed to prevent conferences, schools, or even outside private equity groups from creating a separate league outside of the NCAA. SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey has publicly dismissed accusations that the SEC and the Big Ten are plotting a breakaway, instead arguing that private equity firms represent a larger threat. The revised bill expands its protections beyond just the SEC and the Big Ten and includes the ACC and the Big 12 as well. Lawmakers say the goal is to preserve opportunities for all 500,000 student athletes across Division I sports.
10:39 on a Wednesday. Where's our preempted show? 5:40 game tonight. 4:40 EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show.
We are off next Wednesday, though.
Oh, that's fun.
They will be in Chicago next Wednesday.
Oh, that's right. And next Friday we're off.
Wait, what?
3rd of July. You get that day off. You didn't realize that?
Oh. I think we might not, actually.
No, we had that. We have that off until further notice.
Oh, okay. All right.
That depends on the standings.
Yeah, we've got so we've got next Wednesday off, and then we have the 23rd off, which is a Thursday.
Are you ready to wake up early on the 2nd?
Why?
You're not. You didn't put that down on your calendar. What time you start work on Thursday?
Oh, yeah. No, I got that. Yeah.
Okay. Bennett Woods have their trip to Chicago next week. The little travel package thing they did?
Oh, God. Oh, I did forget about that.
Oh, wow. Good thing I reminded you. I would have been doing this stuff with myself.
What day is that?
That'd be Thursday the 2nd.
Okay. All right. So we get a day off, and then we do the morning show, and then, okay.
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yeah, you were told about that like 2 months ago or a month ago.
I did genuinely. I forgot that.
Well, thank God.
I did forget that.
I beat you to the reminder before Adam did.
Yes. And now I'm going to get 20,000 reminders. Great. Thank you.
Yeah, because you know what I don't want to do? It's 6 a.m. Run the board and do the show. I don't want to do that. That's not something I would like to do. You know what else I would not like to do? I don't really want to watch Griffin Canning do what he did last night ever again. That was rough.
Yeah.
That was rough.
Yeah.
He went 2/3 of an inning last night.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Yeah, that was rough. And here's the thing, I don't know.
It wasn't even bark at the park night either.
No. 2/3 of an inning, 4 earned runs.
I'll do it.
4 hits.
He draws the foul.
1 walk. 2 strikeouts. He got 4 whiffs.
Hey.
That's not bad. 20% on the called strike whiff rate because he had 40 pitches.
But
2/3 of an inning. Here's what, again, the takeaway. I mean, his stuff actually got a B grade in his 40 pitches. Locations, C+. His analytics grade, a C+. Results, F.
He got a B grade. We now know that Pitchers List PLV is a Braves fan. As my mother always says, when the Mets get a rally going, why do they always take out the good pitcher?
If you look at last night, I could not. I wanted to turn last night off. At that point, he got 2 outs after Wandy Peralta had to do the first inning for him. And here's the takeaway from the PLV, who does the stuff, was a B, and he had good locations. Their breakdown says it was a classic 1 bad inning blow up. I don't know if Padres fans are going to accept that, Frank. I really don't.
No, and he faced mostly lefties too, from what we're seeing here. I think that's where his location gets bumped up a little bit.
He got an A+ against right-handed batters.
He threw 6 pitches against right-handed hitters.
Too small of a sample size to gauge it.
Yeah, he faced all lefties.
What was his locations against lefties?
C-.
Yeah, there you go. Probably if he faced more righties, if he threw more pitches, he would have a lot more.
He threw 6 pitches too. I mean, 6 different pitches. Threw slider, 4-seam, sinker, changeup, cutter, sweeper. It just had nothing going for him.
Heavy slider usage yesterday, 32 to 33%. Sinker up against right-handed pitching. But, I mean, here's the dilemma, right, for the Padres. I just, I don't know how many more ways you can find and how many more strategies you could do to try to make the Lucas Giolito Griffin Canning thing work right now. Look, I get that they didn't have a spring training. It's June now, okay? Like they went through the whole rehab process,
Yeah, they had
which
a
was
month.
like their shortened spring training. They've gotten multiple starts now at the major league level, and it's not getting better. I mean, I guess the stuff might be there, but when you're throwing the ball over the heart of the plate or guys are ambushing you early, I don't know how you can continue to roll out a guy in the starting rotation with a 7.38 ERA, and he gave you 2/3 of an inning in a night that you used an opener to try to save pitching. I mean, come on. Like, you can't continue to do this anymore. But here's the dilemma, though. It's easy for us to say, like, they need to end this experiment. That's easy to say. But he's appeared in 10 games now, and again, they're basically 10 starts because he didn't get to start the game because he had 2 openers. But in 10 appearances this year, he is 1-5 with a 7.38 ERA. I bet you if you went through every team in baseball, that doesn't exist in their rotation. And I'm talking about bad teams. I mean, the Reds DFA'd Chris Paddock this week. I don't think his numbers were that bad.
Right after we were talking about how he hasn't worked out in his career.
Right.
The same day.
I start to look at, you look at the overall career of Griffin Canning, and look, he wasn't supposed to be the ace of the staff. He wasn't supposed to be the savior of the organization. He was supposed to be a guy that could give you like a 4th or 5th starter, really a 3rd, 4th, or 5th starter type performance. And this is the worst he has ever been. Last year, he only had 16 starts before he got hurt. That was actually the best he had ever pitched all in his career. The year before that with the Angels, he was 6-13 with a 5.19 ERA. The year before that with the Angels, he was 7-8 with a 4.32 ERA. He did not play in 2022, and in 2021, he was 5-4 with a 5.60 ERA. You thought maybe you could catch a little bit of what was working for him in a Mets uniform last year before he got hurt, but I don't know how much longer this experiment can continue. The problem is, though, Frank, if it ain't Canning and it ain't Giolito, who were supposed to come in and help solidify this, who is it going to be? Because I guess you got Marquez and Waldron coming back from injury soon. We've seen the Matt Waldron experiment. That's relatively the same. Hopefully JP Sears looks good tonight, or the Padres are in a massive jam when it comes to their starting pitching.
Then you also have Johnny Brito down there too, who you haven't seen since the Juan Soto trade. He's been hurt. So you do have one more option really that you haven't seen. Tristan McKenzie could be, but we haven't seen what he's done.
He had a lot of walks down there.
Yeah, so he probably won't be on there. But yeah, I mean, for Griffin Canning, might be a case for him where he may have gotten hurt before he could regress to the mean last year, is what it's looking like. And he kind of did have a full spring training. He was there. He wasn't doing full work. He was still recovering from the Achilles injury, but he was with the team all spring training. He was throwing all spring training. And then he had that month or so, because they used the full time, of him rehabbing and working. So, I mean, for Giolito, yeah, he did not have a spring training. He had a very short ramp up. It was like 2 or 3 weeks before they called him up. But Griffin Canning, this is just looking kind of like he did in Anaheim. It really is.
Yeah, and here's again the comparison. Like, just because you signed the guy to help out, and I mean, I get the whole who's going to replace him kind of attitude, but at this point, I brought up Chris Paddock because he got DFA'd this week. And Go Aztecs in the Twitch chat went and looked at his numbers. I just pulled him up. Paddock's been cut by 2 teams this year. He got DFA'd by the Marlins and now DFA'd by the Reds. He's appeared in 13 games with 9 starts. That's pretty similar to Griffin Canning, is it not?
Mm-hmm.
He is 0-7 with a 6.96 ERA. Griffin Canning is 1-5 with a 7.38 ERA. Those numbers are arguably worse. I mean, wins and losses in baseball is a joke of a stat anyway, especially, I mean, Paddock's playing for the Marlins and the Reds. I'm sure they lost a lot of those games. But he's been cut twice. Like, the Marlins and the Reds both said, this guy's not good enough to pitch for us. So I'm under the impression of, like, how much worse could it possibly be to have JP Sears pitch or to have Johnny Brito come up or to have Jackson Wolf. I mean, any of the guys in AAA. How much worse could it possibly be? I mean, if a 6.96 ERA doesn't cut it for the Marlins, which it shouldn't cut it for anybody, why is it still cutting it for the Padres? I mean, unless they think they can work with something. But yesterday, to me, looked like the final straw for a guy. It did. I don't know how you can continue to roll that out there. And they even tried to set him up for success by having him come with an opener in front of him, and it still didn't work, Frank.
No, I'm just looking at Tristan McKenzie's numbers right now. They're not even using him as a starter.
No, he's
down
at
AAA. He's a bullpen guy. 33 walks to 21 strikeouts with a 14.63 ERA. So Tristan McKenzie is not an option at this point. 3 starts for Johnny Brito. 7 walks, 13 strikeouts, opponent batting average of 208. And I know we don't look at the ERA all that much in the PCL. Got a 132 ERA in 13 2/3 innings. So Brito might not be all that bad an option. I think they might want to try to build him up a little bit more, throwing a little bit deeper into games before they are ready to call him up. But by that time, German Marquez and Matt Waldron will be ready to come off the IL. So Brito's not looking like a bad option right now.
No, I think they're just hoping to build him back up because of all the time that he has missed, right? I mean, that to me is what they're waiting for with Johnny Brito. But we've talked to now 2 managers in the minor leagues that have seen Johnny Brito, and what did both of them say?
Stuff's great.
He's looked in great shape. He's like, this is some of the best we've seen him look so far. I mean, I think that's all encouraging signs, but at this point, I don't know how you could continue to deal with Griffin Canning. And I guess you got to give him the opportunity maybe on the IL to come back like they've done with everybody else on this team, because they did it with Matt Waldron. They've done it with German Marquez, and now with Lucas Giolito needing some time. I mean, with all of that, I guess you got to take that chance with Griffin Canning too. But they're running out of strategies to deploy him in games at this point.
And for those of you looking at Jackson Wolf, 17 outings, 10 starts, 58 2/3 innings pitched, 24 walks, 55 strikeouts, which really isn't all that bad for the PCL, but this is where it starts to go downhill. 291 opposing batting average with a 5.98 ERA.
Yeah.
So
the ERA
the walks,
very high.
the walk to strikeout ratio is decent. It's there, but that opposing batting average of 291 is not great.
I don't know what the Padres are going to do with these. I mean, these two just kind of missed. But again, this is like whatever the Padres were able to afford at the time. This is what it was, right? I mean, this is what you have to take a chance on. You know what? It worked out with Walker Buehler. Look, you signed 4 guys. They loaded. This is why they did this in spring training. They loaded up on like 4 or 5 arms, and were like, one of these guys is bound to work. That's kind of what you're going for when you sign veteran guys that had done something in the past, that have been struggling as of late, that you still think have a little bit left, and it's not going to cost you a lot of money. And they got one in Walker Buehler, and hopefully he can keep that up throughout the remainder of the season. But this Padres team is going to have to try to piece together the rest of this rotation until they make it to at least the All-Star break. And that's the unfortunate matter. And again, we'll talk about it when we come back. We'll also get your phone calls. The opener strategy. The opener strategy is not bad if your starter can get you like 5 innings. It is bad, though, when he goes 2/3 of an inning, and we saw how that could blow up on you yesterday. Just getting started here on a Wednesday. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973 if you want to join the show. Hour number 2 coming up next. All of our guests join us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bang Banking, it's better. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. We are broadcasting live for the Bill House Studios. We know how. We got a lot to get to still on the Braden Surprenant Show. We're talking a lot of Padres baseball today. Padres went 2 in a row. Win the series against the Atlanta Braves, but can't get complacent. Got to put the pedal to the metal tonight. It will be J.P. Sears for the Pods going against Martin Perez, former Padre. Martin Perez this year, 6-3 at a 2.78 ERA for Atlanta. Some pretty good numbers right there. Game will start at 5:40 Pacific time. Ecowater SoCal Padres pregame show at 4:40. Looking forward to that. If you want to join the show today, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Obviously talking a lot of Padres baseball today. Let's get out to Dan in Chandler. Dan, what's going on?
Hey, good morning, guys. How are you doing?
No, we're doing well. Trying to stay cool out here. Hopefully you're doing the same out there in Arizona.
It's only 108.
Oh, it's okay. It's not. It's not too bad. It's a dry. It's a dry heat, Dan. It's a dry heat.
That's right. A couple of things. The last 3 Padres wins, Manny has the game-winning RBI in all 3. So his batting average may not be high, but I think he's coming around. Number 2 point. Last night, Peralta did really well as the opener. Why does he have to pitch only 1 inning? Because if you bring in the starter, quote-unquote starter, who sucked last night, but let's say he gives you 4 innings. Now it's the 6th inning, and you still have to get 4 innings in the bullpen. If Peralta could have given you 2, a 4-inning start, he could have got you to the 7th inning. So why does the opener only have to pitch 2? And my last point is, I'm a 32-year season ticket holder. I don't want to ever see Griffin Canning on the mound again. So I want to know what time today we can expect a DFA. And with that, I'll leave it to you to answer. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Dan. Well, I will. Let me, I'm not going to address the last part. You could take that up with the Padres. I will address the part about Wandy Peralta because this was addressed in the daily newsletter today by Kevin Acee because they asked Craig Stammen about it last night. And the Padres believe that Wandy Peralta they believe he's very good in 1 inning. They don't think he could stay that good for another inning. And usually when Wandy Peralta doesn't really do very well, it's in the 2nd inning, at least to the Padres. Okay, so the Padres don't want to really use Wandy Peralta for more than just 1 inning. That doesn't mean that they won't do that. But in the opener situation, they're not going to use him specifically for more than just 1 inning. Now, here's the other thing too. Like I don't know how much this is at play, Frank, but we discussed this the last time we were talking about an opener. Remember, Wandy Peralta came out of the bullpen.
Yes.
When they were on the road for the opener situation to really simulate him coming back, out of the bullpen like he would normally do as a relief pitcher. Well, if they did that and then they wanted their starter to come in with a clean inning like he's used to doing as a starter, what happens if Wandy Peralta goes out there for the 2nd inning and bleep starts hitting the fan? Now what do? Do you put Canning in with guys on base, like something he's not used to as a starting pitcher? Like these are things that with pitchers you have to be careful about. So, one, the Padres don't really want to see Wandy Peralta specifically go more than 1 inning. And number 2, you don't really have an exit plan on the opener situation if you try to roll the dice and have him go a 2nd inning. So if you already don't really want to see Wandy Peralta go a 2nd inning, they're probably not going to have him do it when there's not a lot of a backup plan if he gets lit up for the next pitcher. Because then if you have to go with the reliever to fill in for Wandy Peralta because you don't want your starting pitcher to come in with runners on base because it's out of unusual for him, then you would have to burn another pitcher if Peralta was unable to do it in the 2nd inning. So I get the strategy there. I get where they're coming from. An opener doesn't only have to go one inning. We've seen other teams do that. I just think with Wandy Peralta specifically, they just want to see him throw one. So I hope that answers your question. But to me, that made sense when the Padres said that, Frank.
No, yeah, it definitely does. I mean, the other thing you could also do is you could throw Canning and Giolito on the same day. You can have Canning go one time through the order. You can have Giolito go one time through the order. If that's 3 innings, if they're pitching well, it's 4. The other one does the same. Then you only have to use one reliever. So there are other options that you have. But I as much as it would be nice to get maybe 2 innings out of an opener, it's not the greatest situation to have.
Well, I just think you're just setting yourself up for problems in the second inning if it doesn't work, right? If it doesn't work, the whole idea of the opener is like let's get one of our better relievers who we know are going to face their top 3 hitters, and let's just chalk up one of those innings now, and then let the starter settle in. So that's the strategy behind it. It doesn't work though if you go 2/3 of an inning. It blows up on you fast, and then you needed your bullpen to cover 9 1/3 innings last night, which is not what you wanted to have from the get-go. So hopefully you could get some length out of JP Sears, left-hander, going against a very heavy lefty lineup for Atlanta Braves tonight to try to save your bullpen a little bit.
But to the thought of, a roster move being made, I would not be surprised if a roster move was made to have somebody come up to give a little bit of extra length and to have a fresh arm in that bullpen after what you did yesterday. So that's maybe did David Morgan pitch yesterday?
He was warming up. I know that.
To have somebody who pitched yesterday that has options that you've already used an option on this year, like maybe a Kyle Hart, for instance, because he did pitch.
Morgan did pitch yesterday too.
So send Hart pitched 2 innings. Send down Kyle Hart for a couple days, get a fresh arm. I could see them doing that today, though. I could definitely see that.
Yeah, they might have to at this point. And if they bring up Brito, well, then you might know another move coming up in a little bit later after that. I don't think it's going to be a DFA though.
Yeah, because Hart threw 45 pitches yesterday. Morgan only threw 15. If you're going to send somebody down, it'd be Kyle Hart to get some rest.
I wouldn't be surprised if Bragley comes back up, if and when he comes back up, because he's getting some rest. Like he, to me, is a guy that could probably do 2 innings as an opener. But no, like to answer Dan's question, they don't have to go 1. The Padres just don't think Wandy Peralta can go more than 1. Or they just don't want him to. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get out to Kevin in Chula Vista. Kevin, what's going on?
Well, hey, it was great to have a win last night, and congratulations to the boys for coming through all aspects. Finally, we see a complete team win, which was no complaints. I want to go back to the pitching, Braden, and I want to tie in together what I talked about last week to the present, what's happening right now. This Padre problem, first of all, it's an epidemic across Major League Baseball with injuries. I don't understand. I've been watching baseball since the 60s, and I can remember Denny McClain racking up 30 victories. I mean, it doesn't even get close to that now. So here it is. We've got Musgrove, you've got Pavetta, and you got Yu Darvish. It's not about the money. It's about the wins that they could have racked up had they been healthy. You're looking at 40 to 45 wins that have to be replaced. Here's the problem. That leaves the Padres in one position. They don't have and have not produced anything coming out of the farm system for starting pitching maybe since Mackenzie Gore, and that's not saying much at this point. So you're stuck with going into the recycle bin, and you're on this constant treadmill of picking up a bunch of marginal end-of-the-career pitchers that have long histories of injuries. And we're on this cycle now that we can't seem to get off. And this is a major problem. And again, it's not just the Padres. There's a lot of teams going through this. So baseball itself, I think, needs some introspection to find out what in the hell is being done wrong with the upbringing and the training of major league pitchers to cause them to blow out so often, so early. And that's the part that I think we need to focus on here a little bit more, because this is nonsensical when you're running out of Griffin Canning. This poor man has got deer in the headlights, and go by what you see with your eyes, and your eyes don't lie to you. This poor guy has lost it, needs a lot of time, and I think the minor leagues, if he can go there, to find himself. But he's not ready for MLB at this point.
Well, the pitching, and I appreciate the phone call, Kevin. I mean, you've now gotten to the era of baseball where kids play baseball year round. This is that era is now at the major league level. I mean, before, like when you bring up some of these players that like used to go, who are the players that Mark Grant was showing us in the press box the other day that threw like 300 something innings? They started like every single game. Yep. It was like no problems at all.
Both ends of a doubleheader that both go extra innings.
Yeah, I got through both ends of a doubleheader. Those guys were playing other sports when they were kids. Those guys weren't throwing these like incredible, like nasty sliders. Those guys weren't throwing as hard as they possibly can because it's about velo than anything else. I mean, this is the baseball we've created, and it starts at like 9 years old. I mean, I as somebody that coaches high school sports, you're not going to find more anti-travel sports person than me. You're just not. I see with a lot of these, and the thing is, it's not blanket, because there's a lot of good coaches out there that have their kids on some of these teams, and all they do is play one sport, and they're really good at it. I mean, there's a time and a place for some of these, but I think the youth stuff has gotten completely out of hand. And I think a lot of club coaches convince parents that, if your kid plays with me year round, I'm going to get him to college. I'm going to get him to Major League Baseball. But the reality is they just need the paycheck for the whole year. They can't have off seasons because that's their only job now, is just coaching travel sports. The reality of the situation is, if your child is good at said sport, and you and your wife, or you and your husband have the genetics, these colleges are going to find you, and they're going to find your kids, because they get paid a lot of money to find those players. The whole, like, if you don't play for this high school, or if you don't play for this club, right? It's insane. First of all, it's just flat out lying to you. I talk to college coaches all the time. They hate having to go to some of that stuff. But you are watching an era of baseball now at the major leagues, especially for the ones that are American born, where these guys have been playing every single day for their entire lives. And they're playing in tournaments, and they're doing the little league thing, and they're doing, they're pitching all the time. They're playing club and high school at the same time. And it's all about high velo and high slider usage. And you wonder why all these guys' arms are blowing out all the time. I mean, the colleges are going to find you. But I honestly think, Frank, the youth level with travel ball, and I've heard scouts talk about it too, it's putting some wear and tear on these guys' arms, especially pitchers, at a very young age. And these guys are throwing pitches they shouldn't be throwing at a very young age. And these guys are pitching way more than they should at a very young age to win travel ball tournaments. It's just like, it's crazy to me. I mean, you look at what baseball pitchers were doing before to what they, like, growing up and what they're doing now. They would take like 3 or 4 months off because they'd be playing other sports. Now it's like we're so worried about our kid going to college to play D1 or to go or to be a pro. And the parents are like 5'8" and 5'9", and then just think like they're gonna be able to go pro if they just play for the right AAU club or travel ball team or whatever. And that's unfortunately in all sports. But I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that we're just having kids throw all the time now.
There's no reason for a 10-year-old to be throwing a slider.
No way.
There's no reason for it. I mean, most kids at 10 years old can't even hit what's coming at them, let alone a slider. Just focus on. That's what I always Like when I was a catcher in Little League, the kids that I threw to, none of them were in the pros, but they just threw fastball changeup. That was it. It was just, and it depended. There was no grip. There was no twist to it. It was just how deep you held the ball in your hand. That was it. So it is absolutely ridiculous what the youth of what youth sports is becoming now. And it's everything is professional. Everything has to be professional now.
I don't have kids. I would like kids one day, but I hear from some of you guys that listen to our show about how much money you have to spend for these like select teams. Oh my God. I don't know how anybody can afford this.
No, my kid is getting what I got, which is batting gloves and cleats. That's it. I mean, of course, helmet and bat as well, but sliding mitt, chains, no.
Oh my God.
You can get that on your own when you're in college and in the pros. If you make it that far.
I mean, a lot of these guys...
you don't need to be 8 years old with swag chains and a sliding
right.
mitt.
I think it's a little bit different than let the kids have fun. If you want to let the kids have fun, let them just play with their friends. I see it now where they miss, like, they had that for, CIF playoffs up in LA where their highest level was like missing like 3 or 4 guys because they were playing club. It's like, why? At what point, what does it become like? What are we doing? Like, what a waste of time. I know people who that coach for different sports. They were missing their best players for a club tournament. They were in the CIF playoffs and they missed their best players because they have to play in this club tournament. And by the way, they were already committed to college teams. Like, what are you still doing that stuff for?
See, this is
what a waste of time.
This is why I couldn't be a coach, because I would say, "Oh, you want to play club? You're off the team. Don't bother coming back."
Serious? I mean, yeah, this is what you have to be.
Don't bother coming back. Give me your uniform. You're done.
I think a lot of parents are just naive to the fact that they don't have to do this. If your kid is gifted enough to be a professional athlete, you know at a very young age because they're probably gigantic as a child and they do things that nobody else can do. If your kid is just very good, but is not like a step above everybody by far, they're probably not going pro. I mean, I can look at the team that I have right now that I coach at the varsity level at Cathedral. We have one kid that I go like, that guy can play on Sundays. He's also a 5-star athlete, and he's committed to USC, and he runs over 20 miles an hour on his elite speed. That is like drastically different than everybody else. That's the only kid. They have a lot of great kids on that team. There's a lot of great kids on that team. They're not going pro. I mean, I could see it based on like what they look like compared to what that upper echelon level is. So unless your kid's running like 20 miles an hour and it's just way bigger than everybody else or way better than everybody else, that's the level. We talked about, how long ago was this that we talked about this? We got an email from a parent that it was
like a couple months ago.
But it was the stat of like the percentage of kids that make it to the furthest level is like less than 1%, like 1%, less than 1%. It's something ridiculous. And they pulled like parents of current like high school players or maybe even like just youth, like 12 on. Like 25% of them thought their kid was going pro. And it's like, they're not. They're not going pro. And the only people that ever fight back on this, usually like, in our YouTube chat, we don't have a lot of those today. They're usually people that actually do that themselves. They are the travel coach. And again, as I mentioned before, not all travel baseball is bad. Not all travel soccer, not all travel whatever. And there's some elite levels for players that are gifted that are way better than everybody else. But now it's gotten to the point where everybody does it and you're spending a ton of money and it's really for nothing. And it's unfortunate for kids that just want to play. Like the kids that just want to play that aren't going to go pro, that aren't going to go play D1. It shouldn't be super expensive for them to enjoy youth sports around the deal, like around San Diego. But I do think a lot of parents make it more about them than the kids. And then here's the other thing too that's sad. We gotta take a break. Not only do these kids like blow out their arms, But then the kids that don't make it, Frank, you know what they become when they stop playing? They don't become fans anymore because they didn't hate the game that they have been forced to play every single day as a kid because somebody thought they were going to go pro. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Talking Padres baseball when we return on the Braden Surprenant Show, Settings Number Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. The United States is quickly becoming one of the biggest stories of the 2026 World Cup after crushing Paraguay 4-1. Mauricio Pochettino's squad followed it up with a 2-0 win over Australia and has already secured first place in Group D. Suddenly, fans are beginning to ask just how far this team can go. Meanwhile, France has emerged as the team to beat behind Mbappe. Lionel Messi delivered the first World Cup hat trick of his career for Argentina. Oh, and by the way, broke the World Cup goal record with 2 goals against Austria. And Spain answered critics with a dominant 4-0 victory over Saudi Arabia. Cape Verde continues to shock the world. Canada earned its first ever World Cup victory with a 6-0 rout over Qatar. And Turkey has become one of the tournament's biggest disappointments after being eliminated without scoring a goal. Knockout stage is approaching, and the drama is only getting started. The 2026 FIFA World Cup is beginning to separate contenders from pretenders. It's been a fun one to watch, Frank.
No, it absolutely has. And at the moment, France is starting to look like the most complete team in the tournament. They opened up with a statement 3-1 victory over Senegal. Their attack looks terrifying. Kylian Mbappe scored twice, and he is surrounded by incredible talent, including Dembele, Desiree Doué, and the bench loaded with young stars. Quite simply, France may have the deepest roster. If they stay healthy, they might be the favorites to win the World Cup trophy for the 3rd time.
Messi and Argentina are off to a dream start. At age 38, Lionel Messi continues to make history. In his 6th World Cup appearance, Messi delivered the first World Cup hat trick of his legendary career as Argentina began its title defense in style. Biggest question surrounding Argentina entering the tournament was whether an aging squad could survive the longer 48-team World Cup format. So far, that concern has been put on hold. Defending champions have looked sharp, and Messi is once again proving why he remains one of the greatest players the sport has ever seen. And Frank, we saw it earlier on Monday. He scored 2 goals against Austria. And of course, the penalty kick, one that he, shanks to the right of the right post. It almost looked intentional, because that would have been the World Cup record goal if he made that. It almost seemed like he wanted to do it in real time. And you know what? Not only did he get one, he got another one in extra time. And Argentina won 2-0 over Austria to take a 2-win lead in the table that they're in.
Yep, absolutely. And Argentina is now also advanced into the knockout stages. So that's very impressive for him. And Messi has scored all 5 goals Argentina has scored. And they have a lot of good goal scorers, including Lautaro Martinez from Inter Milan. He's he's a key contributor for Inter Milan as far as goal scoring is concerned. So they've got guys who could score, but it's been all Lionel Messi so far. One thing that this tournament has been, though, is all the United States, not just because they're playing a lot of the games here. Perhaps no team has exceeded expectations more than the United States. After dismantling Paraguay 4-1 in the opener, the Americans followed it with an impressive 2-0 win over Australia, and that was without Christian Pulisic. Mauricio Pochettino's squad has already won Group D and can rest key players heading into the final match against Turkey, who have already been knocked out of the tournament. This team is playing with confidence, attacking flair, and a style that American fans have rarely seen. The question entering the tournament centered around the chemistry and whether Pochettino had settled on his best lineup. Those concerns have quickly disappeared, and fans are suddenly beginning to wonder just how far this team could go.
I mean, I haven't been on this planet as long as a lot of other people, but this has seemed like one of the best showings we've seen out of Team USA. I mean, And I don't want to, like, because we always get now in this day and age of like the recency bias. And so, like, now all of a sudden, and you've seen it's been fun, like, oh, let's go win this thing now. Team USA, it's great in our home. I want to pump the brakes on that, but it's hard to fight some of those urges when you see them play as well as they have. It's not that they're just 2-0. It's the way that they have won and the way that they have adapted and the way that they've led to their attack and the athleticism this team has. And the other thing, we talked about it going into this tournament, the experience. They're not only young, they have experience in the World Cup, which I think is going a long way. They have the perfect combination of youth and experience that could get them into the final 8 in this tournament.
Yeah, and this is also bucking a pretty recent trend of the host nation not really doing all of that well.
August, join us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not big bank banking, it's better. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, Standing Summer Sports Station 97.3. The Fan. We got a couple of minutes here. And again, I want to mention like what we were talking about in the last segment. Kevin in Chula Vista asked about how everybody's got a pitching problem right now. And I look at the youth. I mean, I saw friends that played all the time, travel ball, and were pitching all the time. And then they like couldn't make it out of college because their arms had gone. I mean, when you pitch in baseball, it puts a lot of wear and tear on your arm because your arm's not supposed to be moving like that. And you do it at a high velo and you're throwing in the sliders in there and stuff like that. Eventually, it's going to start going. And I think you're seeing that at the pro level with all these guys that play all the time. And, some of them do play other sports. Not all of them do. But it's important of why you need rest. And I want to mention again, I want to make this clear. Like, I don't think all club sports are bad. I just think there's a lot of bad eggs that try to convince parents that they need to play on this team or they need to pay them X amount of money and they will get them to college. When the reality is the kids get them to college. The kid's genetics gets them to college. And I see it all the time. I mean, I see, and that's I've talked to college coaches here in town, and they go like, I asked about travel ball. They go, no, my kid's not playing travel ball. Are you crazy? It's the same guys that are like recruiting players for their teams. So anybody that tells you have to play for me or you have to spend this amount of money to play on my team and I'm going to get you recruited, it's just lies. It's mostly lies. But it gets to a point now where like so many, like when I was going through like travel ball, I just started like for baseball when I was like a kid. And that was for like the players that were just really, first of all, really, really good, but also like had no interest in playing other sports. They were only going to play travel ball. And it was like an elite level. Now it's like anybody can have a travel ball team, Frank. And so it's like depleted like little leagues and stuff. And so you have all the kids that like really can't play anything that athletic that are just kind of like doing some exercise, which is great. And it eliminated all like those kids that were good, but not necessarily good enough to go to college. And now they all have to spend thousands of dollars to play baseball because otherwise they're going to be playing in leagues where they're just like so much better than everybody else. It's really the youth sports, I think, is leading to a lot of problems at the pro level right now.
I remember trying out for a travel ball team because our travel ball team picked from our little league. So like all the kids in the little league that wanted to and that people thought were good enough would try out for this team. And I remember my tryout kind of got sabotaged a little bit by my own stupidity. But it really wasn't like a known thing. You had to be like one of the top players in the little league if you even knew about the travel ball stuff. And that was, going all over Long Island and into the city towards upstate New York and playing all of these other teams. It was it was something that wasn't just easily attainable. You had to, one, be good enough in Little League, and then two, try out and try to make the team.
When I went through, I mean, I was on a couple of teams like in 7th and 8th grade, and I just remember playing baseball in the fall was miserable because I'd rather be watching football or also playing. I was also playing football, so I'd play football on Saturday for Pop Warner, and then it was like, oh, let's go play a Sunday. I'm like, I had no interest in playing baseball on a Sunday. In the fall, I was always about, when I was a kid growing up, my favorite sport was whatever season it was. I loved football in the fall. When I was little, I played soccer, and then basketball was fun in the wintertime, and then played baseball in the spring, and you're into it. I didn't like playing the other sports in the other time frames. I just was not my deal. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to spend a Sunday doing that. And I guess you have to do that to try to make it to a certain level, but I was never making it to that level. Not at my height. It's never going to happen, right? So it gets to a point where it's like, I wonder how much of it is still fun for a lot of these kids. And the other thing too, it's like the money these tournaments make. It's like, oh, here's $1,000 a team to get in, and plus they got to travel there, they got to stay in the hotels, and then you get there and you got to pay an entry fee like per individual day. You got to pay for parking. It's like they nickel and dime you everywhere, and it's all for your kid to play baseball or to play a sport. And it's like, it shouldn't be that expensive.
No, it really shouldn't. I mean, I only play baseball because that's really all I had an interest in. But yeah, I mean, you should, if you're a kid, definitely go out and play as many sports as you possibly can. Don't just stick to one, because you never know.
I say that for everybody in high school.
Never know.
I think it helps out a lot of kids. I mean, shoot, we picked up a kicker last year up from the soccer team.
Yeah.
And now he loves football. He's trying to walk on somewhere.
There you go.
I mean, it's great. But again, like the year-round stuff, I feel like it just gets too much. And then especially when you get once you get the scholarships coming in, it's like you're on everybody's radar now. You don't have to do the club stuff anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, like, if you don't like a certain sport, sometimes it just takes a different position. Because I hated baseball playing in the outfield, but I could play it all day long as a catcher. I'm not great at soccer, but I'm a pretty darn good goaltender. So that was where I found my niche, and I played it every Friday down at the indoor place growing up in high school. So sometimes it's not just the sport, maybe it's the position.
The other thing too, it got more popular, or it started to grow and get kind of out of hand. When my brother was playing, I just remember going to tournaments, and I was in high school, and my brother was playing these travels. And my brother was a way better baseball player than I was. He could pitch, he could catch, he could do a lot of other things, and he had to do this to try to. This is like what had become required of him, and in order to make this team, in order to do this, in order to get looks, I mean, all that stuff. I remember going to they had these showcase ones, and I don't want to name the company that runs it. There's a lot of them out there, but they had these rules. I mean, they had radar guns for these kids. They're 7th grade, 8th grade, whatever it would maybe.
Stop it.
And you couldn't walk anybody because they wanted to have guys hit, right? It was a showcase, right? It was a tryout thing. And so the pitchers were up there throwing it as hard as possible because they wouldn't be penalized for a walk. And so they were throwing it behind my brother's head, over his head, all over the place, just trying to show how hard they throw. And my brother one at bat got hit 3 times. And he's still in there because a hit by a pitch and a walk didn't do anything. And at that point, it's all right, this is a lot of money just to show how hard a kid throws. It's you wonder why these arms are going in Major League Baseball. And that's kind of how I'm going to piece it all together. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Dive back into the Padres conversation. Let's talk about the starting rotation on the other side, plus the sports thread on the Braden Surprenant Show, standing us over at Sports Station 97 through the Fan. 11:40 on the Fan. We got Jaden Taylor, Fort Wayne TinCaps broadcaster, joining us in the noon hour. We had a lot of roster moves yesterday in the minor leagues. The Padres moved their prospects all over the place yesterday. I mean, every team had like 3 or 4 new players yesterday. It was crazy. We'll get an update on that in the noon hour. We're going to get to the sports thread in just a second, but let's talk more about the starting rotation from yesterday. Obviously, Griffin Canning was the biggest problem, but as you look at this starting rotation, it still remains the biggest problem for this team. Good thing you had Michael King have a bounce back on Monday, but the offense is improving and trending in the right direction. I don't think anybody is really saying otherwise on that one. The bullpen has been elite. It's still elite. And how about this? Like Wandy Peralta and Yuki Matsui, 2 players that Padres fans don't necessarily want to see out there all the time. They both have sub-2 ERAs. I mean, you got to give the guys credit when they're putting up zeros. The rotation, though, however, is still the biggest concern. You saw it's been very inconsistent, and you can't feel comfortable with the way that they're moving in terms of the direction, especially after Griffin Canning allowed 4 runs, only had 4, only a 2/3 of an inning, continued inconsistent performance. And, you know, he's had some good outings like against the Mets, White Sox, and Cardinals, and he has had a lot of bad outings. And most of them have been bad outings for Griffin Canning. But over the last 25 games, this is for the starting rotation. Padres starters ERA is a 5.14 the last 25 games. Starter reached 5 innings only 16 times during that stretch. Only 4 quality starts out of the bunch, and starters left the game when the Padres trailed 12 times, which is why the bullpen has been forced into high pressure situations constantly. And look, I know they haven't got a lot of run support, but right now, Frank, the offense is getting better. The rotation needs to be able to match it because they're putting a lot of pressure on the other 2 elements of this team.
Yes, and that's what the pressure of the offense not performing has done. It has created an issue where now the pitching staff is completely overloaded and just they're falling apart now. Unfortunately for the team, right as the offense is starting to figure it out. So they're getting a lot of runs. Unfortunately, they're not winning by a lot of runs because they wore out the pitching staff with how poor they were in April and May.
Yeah, and that leads to the bullpen, being used a lot. And Mason Miller was used for 2 innings yesterday. Now, I give Mason Miller credit. Mason Miller is the best bullpen arm in baseball. Does anybody disagree with that?
No.
I mean, I'm sure there might be some people that just like to argue just for the sake of arguing, but he continues to show why he is the most important arm on the roster. He came in a tie game in the 9th inning, and then after 11 pitches was asked to pitch the 10th. He finished the 9th inning with 11 pitches. He wanted the 10th inning. He got the save. He got, what would have been a save if they didn't go to extras. And as Craig Stammen said, he is probably the best weapon you could think of in that situation with a guy in second and nobody out. And how about this, though, too? Like, remember when Josh Hader was on this team and he didn't want to go more in it because he was worried about his contract? He hadn't been paid yet. Mason Miller is in the exact same position Josh Hader is in, except he's got more years. And last night, based on the report in Kevin Acey's daily newsletter, it really wasn't much of a discussion. Craig Stammen asked Miller after he came in after the 9th and said, "How are you feeling?" And you know what Mason Miller responded with?
"I'm good for another.
Give it to me." He wanted it. He wanted to win. That's on top of the competitiveness. That's on top of the ability that he has, that competitiveness, that team aspect that he is. He is such a valuable asset. I could see why the Padres traded what they traded for in order to get him. He has been a huge piece to this team.
Give it to me. Are we in a playoff race?
Yeah.
Give it to me. Are we in a playoff race?
I love that answer. It was even, and Craig's like, all right. I mean, it wasn't even a conversation. It wasn't a discussion. It wasn't like, maybe. Give me the ball. I love that. Mason Miller, I mean, he's been used a lot, and then he's got some time off. I mean, but what a weapon that he is for this team. And I think he knew. I mean, they had to win that game yesterday. It's huge that they have taken 2 from Atlanta. They got to get greedy tonight. They get a win tonight against the Atlanta Braves. That puts it a lot more obtainable, I think, to finish the month of June at 500. And it puts them right back on track to where they were last year at this time. And you know what it does, Frank? It eliminates a lot of the doom and gloom that we have dealt with for the last 2 months.
Yeah. I mean, you end up at the same record there or thereabouts, but coming off of wins now instead of loss. Hey, we got to win. Loss. It feels a lot better going into July with the record you have.
833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. What else is going on in baseball or really in sports? Let's get to today's sports thread.
You know that group chat? The one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news?
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk.
All right, what do we got going on in the sports world today?
Oh, boy, do we got stuff going on in the sports world today.
Number 1.
The Washington Wizards officially kicked off a new era by selecting A.J. Dembasta with the number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft last night. After years of rebuilding and 3 straight seasons near the bottom of the standings, Washington is hoping Dembasta can become the franchise cornerstone alongside veterans Trae Young and Anthony Davis. The highly touted BYU star rides with enormous expectations as the player tasking with helping to return the Washington Wizards to playoff relevance. Can Dembasta be the superstar who finally changes the trajectory of the Wizards franchise, or is Washington still a few years away from becoming a legitimate contender?
He's good. He was good. I mean, I watched him play, obviously, in Big 12 action. I mean, BYU had a really good year, and then some of their guys got hurt. I think, didn't he get hurt too?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and they came crashing down into their dirty sodas. But I don't necessarily know if he is a turnaround player. How's it worked out with like Cooper Flagg and the Mavs? I mean, they've gotten better, right? Like, and Wembanyama, another guy, high draft pick, first round draft or first pick overall.
Wemby's a freak, though.
But he's like a guy that he even needed a couple years to turn the Spurs over. So I think it's going to take a little bit of time. It's good. I mean, it's hard to screw up the number 1 pick in the draft, but teams find a way to do it all the time. Ouch. That guy's like got the worst batting average in all of baseball, by the way.
I know.
Did you know that?
I did know that, yeah.
He just hit a 3-run homer.
I saw
Mal McLean's 101st pitch of the game.
I saw that.
What's the score now?
6-3.
Hey, Chicago, what do you say? The Cubs are gonna win today.
Twice. It's a doubleheader. They got rained out on Monday.
Oh, no. The Norwegians are having a great time.
Yeah, that's...
you thought they were on your side there, Frank.
Got it.
They're just having a great time. They have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, no, we got to teach them when to cheer. And right now is
that is so Mets, by the way. They said Mr. Met over there, Mrs. Met. Like, oh, look, they're here for the Mets. Dansby Swanson, it's a 3-run bomb. The Norwegians are having a fun time.
They're there for the vibes. That's all they're there for. They're not there for the teams.
Number 2.
Back to more fun news. The NCAA took a major step towards changing college sports eligibility rules as the Division I cabinet unanimously approved a new age-based eligibility model. Under the proposal, an athlete's eligibility clock would begin either when they enroll full-time at the college or after their 19th birthday, whichever one comes first. The change is expected to begin this summer and could significantly impact recruiting junior college pathways and older athletes entering college sports in the future. Is an age-based eligibility system a fairer and simpler solution for college athletics, or could it limit opportunities for athletes to take non-traditional paths to college sports?
Okay, so we're talking about the eligibility system of you got 5 years to play 5 or something like that?
Yes, starting at either when you enroll or when you turn 19.
Yeah, it might limit some people's deal, but here's the problem, okay? This happens in every walk of life, does it not?
Yes.
There are things that are built in that are great, and then people abuse it, and then those things go away. Isn't that like not true in everything? That's kind of how it works, right? Like every nice deed and rule or law or support or help starts with good intentions, and then people abuse it, and then they have to get taken away because there's abusers and scammers out there. Mm-hmm. So athletes have abused this so much that now they have to have these rules in place for the better of competition for college athletics. I'm all for it. There's going to be some collateral damage to it. Tough S. This is what you have to do to play college sports. Here it is. These are the rules. Finally, they're putting rules back into place. Nature is starting to heal in college athletics. I love everything about this. I don't really care if it affects some people. It's gotten abused. It's getting fixed. Life sucks. I don't know much more to say.
Look at this guy not thinking about the 25-year-old G League flameout. Look at you.
I know, man.
Look at you.
Number 3.
The frustration of a disappointing season boiled over briefly for San Francisco Giants first baseman Rafael Devers when he showed visible frustration after being replaced with a pinch runner in Sunday's loss in Miami. Devers later explained he believed he was being removed because of a hamstring issue, apologized to manager Tony Vitello, and said the situation has been blown out of proportion. Vitello strongly defends Devers, calling the incident, quote, a non-issue as the Giants try to navigate a difficult season and looming trade deadline. Is this simply frustration of a star on a struggling team, or does it reveal larger concerns about the Giants moving forward? I could see that being a pretty solid miscommunication. Your manager thinks you're injured, come out of the game. No, I'm fine. Shoo, go away. I can see that being an issue.
I can buy that. How about him telling the media yesterday, this is why I don't talk to you? Because you blow everything out of proportion.
I mean, he ain't wrong.
I was kind of on his side to an extent. But this is why, you know, for media members like us that are trying to do the gotcha stuff for clicks like TMZ, it's severed the relationship between players and media members because, you know what? Some people have abused it for social media clicks.
Mm-hmm.
And now you got athletes that don't want to talk to anybody. You're like, oh, I wonder what happened. Abusers. That's a strike. Rough.
No, it's not even the strike. They just took out Jared Young, who hit a home run in his last at bat for Mark Vientos. He hit a home run.
You know what? We haven't had a
at bat, bro.
We haven't had a Frank crash out on the Mets in a long time.
Mendoza's trying to get fired at this point. He's
still employed over there. I haven't. It wasn't
trying.
like 2 months to watch the Mets. I thought you guys fired him in the second week of the year.
He's trying to get fired now. Like he is trying.
You know what? He is now so miserable. He's like, I don't want this job anymore.
Number 4.
But if you fire me, maybe I get paid.
The NHL could be heading back to expansion mode as Commissioner Gary Bettman confirmed the league's exploring a second team in Texas. The league has entered an agreement with the Friedkin family to investigate bringing a franchise to either Houston or Austin.
Wait a minute. What family?
The Friedkin family.
Oh, the one that tried to buy the Padres?
Yes.
San Diego? Hey, you want an NHL team in San Diego? Huh?
Which one would you rather have?
Hey,
Houston or Austin? Where would you think would be better suited for an NHL franchise since you used to live there?
Probably Houston in terms of, like, otherwise they'd have to play at the Moody's Center in Texas.
Oh, there you go.
All right. Get back to the Jaden Taylor when we come back.
Padres Braves today.
Leaps up and he made the catch. Jackson Merrill over the wall.
Pre-game 4:40. First pitch 5:40. The Padres play here on 97.3 The Fan.
Hey guys, it's Woodsy. Let me tell you something. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. Your business runs all year, and so do the gaps and the risk. That's why I'm introducing Super Sure. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just buy a policy online. Super Sure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like Fine Print Facts, which translates your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com, one super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Go to supersure.com. That's supersure.com.
Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
We all know what the two best words in sports are. Game 7, but the number 7 has even more meaning in vodka because when a vodka is 7 times distilled, it creates a smooth premium taste that is unbeatable. And there's no better vodka than New Vodka. Spelled N-U-E, New Vodka is 7 times distilled, not 7 times the price. It's an award-winning, American-made vodka that is smooth enough to sip and bold enough to mix. So at a time when everything costs more, New Vodka is the best deal in town. Pick up a bottle of New Vodka at your liquor store today and cheers to something new. Visit newvodka.com to find out more. That's NUEvodka.com.
Jack here. I just want to make sure you've got 2 hands on the wheel when I tell you my Munch Better deals are just $4.99. Get a Junior Jumbo Jack meal or a Junior Chicken Sandwich meal for just $4.99. Okay, now let your hands steer you to Jack. Welcome to Jack in the Box. Full stacks, limited time only. Price and participation may vary.
If you're still using a sports book to bet on the soccer tournament, you're getting robbed. Delete that app and join the millions using Polymarket. Polymarket is a prediction market, not a sports book. Trade against other fans, not the house. Polymarket, your go-to prediction market for soccer's biggest stage. Available in all 50 states. Download the Polymarket app. Use promo code BLAZE to unlock $50.
San Diego, no warm-up needed. If it matters in this city, you're hearing about it right here.
The Michael King contract, super creative. I think it's a great win for the Padres.
Real opinions, real takes, no wasted time.
It has been the little things that have outdone San Diego State, and that's where they got to improve.
Live and local on 97.3 The Fan. The Braden Surprenant Show starts now.
Noon, lunchtime hour on The Fan. All of our guests join us on the SDCCU Fan Hotline. It's not Big Bang Banking, it's better. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We have had, we've usually been doing this on Mondays. We've had a lot of moving parts the last couple of weeks, but we're back to our minor league report. And this week we are focusing on the Fort Wayne TinCaps. And joining us again from Fort Wayne is their play-by-play man and Jaden Taylor. Jaden, good to have you on again, man. How's your Wednesday going?
Appreciate it, Braden. Yeah, it's been great hanging out. Another couple of good ball games already early on this week.
A lot of moving parts this week, Jaden, across all four minor league affiliates for the San Diego Padres. They were moving prospects all over the place. You guys sent some players to AA. You got some players from low A. What's the latest in terms of the roster moves for the Fort Wayne TinCaps this week? What has been a plethora of moves throughout the organization?
Yeah, high turnover rate across these last couple of days in the Padres system. We had 16 roster changes just yesterday going in to the first full week of this second half. So it's a very new look roster. Jake Cunningham, Clay Edmondson, Tucker Musgrove all got moved up to AA San Antonio. Clay was our closer and was second in minor league baseball in saves. Tucker was, you heard a lot about him already in recent talks of how well he has pitched this season, striking out 40 batters across 19 innings. He has kind of been otherworldly right now. Jake Cunningham, though, has kind of been a development darling right now in the Padres system. They picked him up this offseason out of the Orioles system after being released there, and he has been incredible. 15 home runs, more than he had in his entire 3 seasons in the O system before a fifth-round pick. Has been really fun to watch, and we're really happy for all those 3 going up to the AA level. A lot of new names on the roster right now. We had 9 different players this week, and one of the big ones being Ryan Weideman, who leads all minor league baseball in stolen bases this year. Added another one earlier today in our day game out at Eastlake. Fun name, too, Carrington Cross, kind of older guy for initially starting out at the single A level this season, but 5 years at the University of Cincinnati. Was really fun to watch there. Was the Big 12 Player of the Year in 2025. And really the 2 biggest names on the mound, Winier Churio and Brian Balzer, 2 kind of underrated pitchers in the Padres system right now. Churio tossed 5 innings of 1-run baseball today against Lake County, which is the Guardians affiliate at the high A level. And Brian Balzer, we've seen the fastball up near 99 this season. So going to be pretty fun to watch with the big names coming in.
Before the TinCaps won 6 of the last 7, they kind of had a little bit of a down stretch at the beginning part of the month of June. What's this team done the last week or so that has really changed the outcome in terms of their results?
Honestly, I'm going to give a lot of credit, I think, to Jonathan Matthews, the manager for Fort Wayne. Was with this group back in 2023 as the manager returned for 2026. And again, you go to a really rough patch where you lost 3 straight series, 5 of 6 in those series. And the really cool thing I saw with this group is the clubhouse never changed. There might have been a tough day or 2, but this group was pretty even-keeled and ready to go for the second half of the season. And Johnny went to this group and said, hey, you want to build some momentum to the second half of this year against the Hoosier State rival. South Bend last week is who Fort Wayne played, and they're the best team in the Midwest League right now, the Cubs affiliate. And Fort Wayne went in there and won another series, won the season series against South Bend. And honestly, I think it's been a mentality. This group is going after early fastballs, and it's something they've been able to do all season long, and they've gotten help from a lot of different places in this order and been able to come through in big spots, which is something we had not seen across that kind of 3-week stint where the team was batting just around the Mendoza line with runners in scoring position. It's been an entirely different flip across this last week and a half. Team seems more confident. The new juice into this lineup seems a lot of fun too. Luke Cantwell home run today, was back here with this group last season, and with Fort Wayne once again here in 2026. So I think it's a new look to the second half. Credit Jonathan Matthews and a lot of this coaching staff for keeping this group really with their heads held high after a tough recent stretch. And they've been ready to go for a solid second half.
Let's start with Kavares Tears. I mean, he has recently taken off in June. He's hitting over 300 with an OPS north of 800 for the season. What adjustments have you seen from him at the plate to lead to this little bit of a tear that he's been on?
The biggest thing this season was getting the front side of his swing a little bit shorter. You saw a lot in college and early on when he was down in Lake Elsinore, kind of an elongated swing, a high leg tap. He's really simplified things and trying to keep the front shoulder through. There's been some strikeout issues early on in his career, but he's really been able to taper those down as of recent. And a big reason why is his ability to keep that front shoulder down and in. He's been one of the best hitters to the opposite field in the Padres minor league system this year. Honestly, it's where he gets a lot of his power. And I think, again, it kind of builds the confidence a little bit, too. He ran into a couple big home runs to start off the month of June, and he's felt himself ever since. I mean, you talk about the numbers this season. What he's doing in the last 15 games has been really impressive and really a testament to, I think, his ability to adjust to a couple of things that, again, elongated his swing earlier on this season and looking back to his first year in the Padres system last year, and his ability to go up against left-handed pitching. He has dominated lefties this season, which is kind of odd to say. Lefty-lefty split's kind of a reverse split for him. Tears has felt really comfortable up against southpaws, mainly due to the fact that he has to keep that front shoulder in and isn't pulling off as much. He's got such a violent swing that when he can stay connected, he's a real intriguing prospect in the lower end of the system.
We obviously, I mean, we could tell he's got athleticism and power to play a corner outfield spot, but what does his defensive profile look like, and where do you see him fitting in long term?
Yeah, I do think it'd be at the corner spots of the outfield. Doesn't have a ton of experience at first base, but there could be an opportunity at that role as well. Again, the gap-to-gap power when he's able to, again, get through one offensively is really impressive. Defensively, going to the gaps is something that I think is something interesting that he's trying to work on this season. And his defensive skill has been something he's really been trying to focus on here in 2026. He's pretty much the first outfielder out to every single new ballpark that we go to on Tuesdays, wanting to see how the ball works up against the wall, wanting to get a feel of the outfield a little bit. So it's been an emphasis for him. It's something that he knows he's got to grow on at the corner spots of the outfield, but there's a lot of work being put in on his end.
We're talking with Jaden Taylor. He is the play-by-play man of the Fort Wayne TinCaps, joining us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bank Banking, it's better. Giving us a minor league report for the High A Fort Wayne TinCaps. Let's talk about Carrington Cross. I mean, he seems to be the definition of getting on base. He's reached base 5 times in the win over Lake County, and OPS over 1,000 before moving levels. I mean, sometimes players who dominate a lower level have to prove that they could do it again against better competition. What are you watching for with Cross now that he's moved up to Fort Wayne?
Yeah, there's been a lot of coaching, a lot of people that have said the biggest move probably in this Padres system at the minor league level is going from single A in the California League to high A pitching, mainly due to the fact that you get to the cold weather at times in April and May. But when things warm up, that can be a little bit of the difference mark for Cross. And again, 5-year college guy. I think he just understands the strike zone so well. He's walking just about the same amount of times that he's striking out this year. And again, it's kind of that veteran leadership that you would expect from a guy who has a lot of college experience and being able to go out here and do different things defensively too. Seen him at a couple of different spots, whether it's first base, second base, a little bit of third as well, which is where he primarily played at the University of Cincinnati. But his swing decisions are really, really impressive for Cross. I think it's the biggest thing that's led to him having so much success in finding his way on base is that he's got great swing decisions, very confident player. You see that kind of swagger out of a guy that had a lot of success at the later end of college, and he's had a lot of success early on this season, initially down in Lakey and now here with Fort Wayne. And I think building in that success that he had such for an elongated stint down in the California League makes the adjustment here to Fort Wayne a little bit easier because you build some momentum with how well you played recently.
We obviously talk about a lot of the upper echelon prospects for this Padres organization. They are in the low A and high A level. I mean, we'll talk about Tucker Musgrove in just a little bit, who just got sent up to Double A San Antonio. But Matthew Watson earned his first professional win after missing 18 months recovering from Tommy John surgery. What was the story of his journey back, and what did his outing tell you?
Yeah, I mean, 2 different Tommy John surgeries he's had in his career. Had one going into college initially at Eastern Oklahoma. And I think Matthew Watson is a real good testament to this rotation and to that mindset I was talking about. There's not a lot that affects him on the mound, and especially going back through that long rehab process for him. It was very diligent. It was very monotonous at times, can be the rehab process, but that's kind of part of it to kind of build your arm all the way back, just sitting in the complex out in Arizona and kind of doing the same thing every day and just hoping to build piece upon piece to get yourself back out on the mound. And a guy that was at Texas A&M Corpus Christi, not a big Power 5 name. The Padres were able to maybe see with his frame what he could do. And I think the frame is really the most impressive thing you're going to look at when you just see the eye test. 6'5", 220 pounds. And when he can get himself in front of counts, that is when he is so good. It's what we saw just yesterday for Watson, his first outing of 6 innings of the season. Only gave up 1 base hit, and that was a home run. So big reason why he found himself out in front of counts a lot and got weak contact, especially as the right-hander. Gets a lot of weak contact with the two-seamer. The breaking ball, that slider mainly is the best pitch you're going to see from him. 24 years old at the high A level. I think you're hoping that he finds his way to Double A starting next season or by the end of this year. But I think it's a progress piece for him with how well he has dealt with longer starts as of recent. There's not been issues with the arm. He hasn't really had laying over issues from years in the past, at least that he's communicated. And you see what he's done as of recent that's allowed him to be so successful.
Talking with Jaden Taylor, play-by-play man of the Fort Wayne TinCaps, to give us an update on how they are doing in High A for the San Diego Padres farm system. We talk a lot about the big prospects, as I just mentioned, but Jamie Hitt is someone who might get overlooked a lot because he isn't necessarily the big-name prospect, but he's a guy that's had some pretty solid outings, including 6 innings of 2-run ball recently. Is this a prospect that could move quickly if he keeps performing?
I think especially with him being kind of that soft tossing lefty that can find the corners really, really well. I talk about Matthew Watson's slider. I really think Jamie Hitt has the best slider in the rotation right now with what he's been able to put together, especially to round out series. And there's a lot of props to give him just because I'm not sure if he fully knew what his role was going to be going in to the professional ranks. He came out as initially at Oklahoma as a starter, then moved to the bullpen across his final 2 seasons. And initially was going to be a reliever down in Singley Lake Elsinore, and basically just moved up to High A simply out of need. Fort Wayne had a couple of different rotation injuries before the season even started, and Hitt not only got the promotion after a couple of scoreless innings down there in Lake E, but had to move into a Sunday role that, again, he hadn't started in over 2 seasons, and he felt really comfortable. And again, I think the big reason why is getting strike one. You hear it all the time. When you're able to get out in front of hitters, it's when you're going to find the most success, and that's what you've seen with Jamie Hitt. He sequences really, really well, and a lot of times the ball's really hard to see out of the left side. You're willing to give him length. He's been able to stay efficient, which I think is a big key thing for him, getting strike number one, as I mentioned. And it's a big reason why he's been able to go such long distances and be a real big help for this Fort Wayne bullpen to round out series, simply due to the fact that he wants to go out there and give you 5-6 innings each and every single outing. And you don't always see that at the lower ranks of minor league baseball. A guy who thrives in that role wants to be the guy that can give you extended frames. And it has the mentality every single time he goes out there. He wants to be efficient, and he wants to get you to the back 3.
Last one for you. Let's talk about Tucker Musgrove. I know he just got promoted to Double A San Antonio. We've seen a lot of relief pitchers and pitchers in general for the Padres go from Double A up to the big leagues. From what you've seen out of Tucker Musgrove, how far off do you think he might be if he continues on the path that you have seen from maybe helping out this bullpen? Maybe not just this year, but maybe in the future. But it seems like Tucker Musgrove is quickly moving up the ranks.
The overall stuff that you see from Tucker is ready. I really do think so. It was unfair looking at high A hitters try to face Tucker Musgrove, honestly, in the last month or so. I've seen sliders that were about 2 feet outside the strike zone that a hitter was way out in front of, thinking it was a fastball up and in. Fastball's touched 99. It's been nearly at 100. The sweeping slider this season has been between 90. Sometimes it's hit 91. This year, he has been extremely impressive to watch in every single way. And you don't even really talk about the curveball too much or the two-seamer. He has 2 more pitches that he can work with, and he's still developing, but he hasn't really had to throw. I think that's going to be the most interesting piece for Tucker is what does he do at the end of this season when he deals with a little bit of adversity, if he deals with any adversity at Double-A right now, is how can you see the curveball and a changeup develop? I mean, we've seen guys with 2-pitch mixes have no issue jumping from the Double-A to the big league level in his Padres system, but when he can hone things in and get command of all 4 pitches, he is really close to knocking on the doorstep.
Continuing with Lake County this week, got a couple more series leading into the All-Star break. What's on the horizon for the TinCaps, Jaden, as we get closer to the break?
Yeah, Lake County is the big thing right now, right in front of them. You're looking at Lake County, probably Great Lakes, who is Fort Wayne faces next week. It's the high affiliate of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Those 2 and Fort Wayne are probably the 3 teams that are going to try to battle out for the second half standings and make the playoffs for the first time since 2023. And I think these 2 weeks are a real good testing piece going into the break if this team can find a way to the postseason once again and kind of see the barometer a little bit of where they're at in this league. So hopefully it goes well, and I think the break will be nice for this group to kind of get reset and kind of go into a late-end charge of the playoffs.
Fort Wayne, 4-1, second half standings in first place currently, starting off the second half of their season. So we'll see if they can make the playoffs. Jaden, thanks again as always. We'll talk to you in a couple of weeks. Hopefully the Fort Wayne TinCaps are still in first when we have that conversation.
Thank you so much, Braden.
Jaden Taylor, play-by-play man of the Fort Wayne TinCaps, joining us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bang Banking. It's better. A lot of moving parts in the minor leagues this week, Frank. I saw Matt Friars tweet it out. I mean, they are like, are you falling so far? Here's all the players that went to AAA. Here's all the guys that went to AA San Antonio. Here's all the guys that went to Fort Wayne. Here's all the guys that moved from the Arizona Complex League to Lake Elsinore. I mean, they were moving players all over the place. Seeing probably, I would imagine they're setting themselves up for a exciting trade deadline.
Yeah, this is usually about the time, too, where guys who have had good runs through the minor leagues so far this year, at whatever level they're on, usually get picked up to the next level. So not entirely surprising that we saw all of these moves happen, but yeah, definitely a big day if you're in the minor leagues.
A lot of people have talked about how the Padres haven't produced, pitching from they've produced a lot of bullpen arms. I mean, they got some good bullpen arms that have come through the ranks, and that was a area of strength for the Padres in the not only at the major league level but also in the minor league level. World Cup action finally gotten back underway. We got the Swiss taking on Canada, and today is match 3 day, correct? Right, we're starting match 3.
Yep.
So you have Bosnia-Herzegovina is going against Qatar, and the Swiss are taking on Canada. That action is underway. We get our World Cupdate when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. Setting Zimmerman Sports Station, 97 through the Fan. Well, it happened, Frank. The big event that we've been leading up to this point, a big reason why we were doing these updates to inform people about NASCAR coming to San Diego. It has come to San Diego, and what a fun, eventful weekend here in America's finest city. Starting with the Truck Series, onto the O'Reilly Series, and then the Cup Series, NASCAR Cup Chase, if you will. All 3 events I thought were awesome to watch, awesome to be a part of, and based on the people we've talked to at NASCAR, a big success for NASCAR coming back to Southern California.
Yeah, and this may say the NASCAR update, but it's also a NASCAR motorsports update. So let's get it out of the way. Christian Lundgaard won at Indy. It won in Indy at Road America. Anyway, moving on now. Bless you. It was absolutely incredible this weekend. NASCAR was very, very happy with how everything went. San Diego appeared to be very, very happy with how everything went as well. And from what reports are, it's reportedly a multi-year deal here. And depending upon world affairs and whether or not the Navy is down for it.
How active does that runway need to be?
Yeah, exactly. How it looks as though they could be coming back. And the rumor is they're aiming for 4th of July or as close as they possibly can.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, 4th of July weekend. I mean, this year, the 4th of July is on a Saturday, so I would imagine the race day would be on the 4th of July, potentially. But I think overall it was a fun time. I think San Diego really enjoyed the race this weekend. I had a blast being able to go to my first race here in San Diego. And I think a couple of things checked boxes of why this is a success in San Diego. And I think the first one was, this is a race that counts in the standings. This is the highest level of, NASCAR, stock cars. Sorry, I was blanking on the stock cars. This is the highest level stock car racing you can get with the trucks, and being part of NASCAR and not having like the Wayland series or some of like the lower level ones come here. Like the military aspect was great. The weather was awesome over the weekend, but there was a lot of reasons why this turned out to be a success and why it's not surprising that the people of NASCAR really liked being here.
No, and all of the races were fantastic too. That's a major thing. I mean, you could have had this big, awesome 3-mile track, all the pomp and circumstance that comes along with it, and then just had 3 clunker races that are like, oh God, this was one and done, baby. We're out. But no, I think you compare it to the Chicago circuit. I think this was a lot better than the Chicago circuit. Now, the Chicago circuit was run in the middle of downtown Chicago, a bunch of 90-degree corners, where here you're able to mix it up a little bit. You still had your 90-degree corners, but you had your fast sweepers. You had a bunch of different ways and basically when you got to the runway, just a blank slate on what you could imagine potentially doing. You had a great truck race that was just pure carnage as those guys were just trying to figure their way around the racetrack. The O'Reilly Series race was fantastic. 3 guys right down at the end, putting it all on the line to try to win. And then you had 2 teammates battling it out on Sunday trying to win. And all the craziness and the unpredictability that you had from these weekends also. I mean, the walls moving on incidents, though, that's kind of just something you have to live with when it comes to a non-permanent racetrack like Coronado. You had a fan jump on the racetrack. You had a manhole cover go through one of the cars. A couple of very big wrecks, both in the same spot. Sam Mayer took an incredibly hard hit on Saturday. I mean, there is so much to dissect from this weekend that a 5 or even 10-minute video here couldn't even scratch the surface of.
And we talked about it, or we did on the show about. I got to meet William Byron's parents and got to hear a lot of stories from William Byron's parents about William Byron becoming a NASCAR driver and his connection with Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon and some other fun stories too that were on there. It was really cool. You got to see Chase Elliott walking through Coronado, being here in town. NASCAR's and racing's biggest stars being here in San Diego was great. And it drove a lot of celebrities down here too. I think this is a event that was great for NASCAR. We got the report back, 125,000 people over the weekend, throughout the entire weekend showing up to the race. Percentage of female attendees through the roof, the percentage of Hispanic viewers through the roof, the percentage of first-time NASCAR fans through the roof. These are all areas that you want to hit on if you're NASCAR, and this is why you do street races, right? It's why you do the road courses. It opens you up to a bigger audience, and I think NASCAR hit this one out of the park. And again, we talked about the things that need to be improved for next time. They're all fixed. 3 on a Wednesday. Padres baseball today at 5:40. We don't have any tickets to give away today, do we?
We do not. No.
We do not. All right. We gave away our tickets yesterday. 5:40 start. JP Sears, Martin Perez is your pitching matchup tonight. Padres trying to sweep the Braves. That would be great. Looking forward to that. Hopefully that is the case. Again, earlier start time. Not the usual afternoon start time, but we have a 5:40 start time, which means the Eco Water SoCal Padres pregame show will be at 4:40 today. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973 if you want to join the show. But right now, since we got World Cup action on, it's time for our World Cupdate.
Again, I love how you've just like completely embrace the true
I haven't
name
embraced
of
it. It's still a
Yes,
foul.
you have.
You still
Well,
get a
no,
foul.
it's fine. I'll take the foul for it every day, but like you're embracing it. You're not just not.
I'm not embracing it.
I really, you keep saying.
I'm saying it just to appease you.
No, you're not.
Yes.
No, you like it.
World Cupdate is such a dumb name.
No, it's not. Okay. Yesterday, Cristiano Ronaldo nets 2, as well as Nuno Mendes and Rafael Leao, giving Portugal 5 goals over Uzbekistan to round out their second match day. England and Ghana play to a 0-0 draw. Panama and Croatia coming away with a goal in the 54th minute, giving Croatia their first win of the tournament. Panama officially out. Uzbekistan as well, officially out. Colombia clinches their spot into the knockout stage with a 1-0 win over Congo. Daniel Munoz coming away with a goal in the 76th minute. Today officially starts match day 3 for the World Cup, which means the entirety of a group will play today, and they will all play at the same time. So as of right now, we have Group B action on right now. Switzerland versus Canada. Both of those teams coming in at 1-1-0. Whoever wins this match will win the group. Bosnia-Herzegovina, Qatar. Both of those teams are 0-1-1 with 1 draw and 1 loss each. Coming up next at 3 p.m. By the way, Switzerland, Canada is on Fox. Bosnia-Herzegovina and Qatar are on FS1. At 3 o'clock on FS1 will be Morocco versus Haiti for Group C. And on Fox will be Scotland versus Brazil. Again, that will be Scotland versus Brazil will be for the win. Haiti is already out. Morocco trying to be one of the 7 third-place teams to make it into the next round. And then finally, rounding out tonight, 6 p.m. on Fox will be Czechia versus Mexico. Mexico's already won the group for Group A. And then it'll be South Africa versus South Korea at 6 p.m. on FS1. So the entirety of Group A, B, and C will be figured out going into tomorrow.
And then tomorrow DEF?
Yes.
Because Team USA plays Turkey tomorrow,
Yes.
and they've already won the group, of course. But as it stands, again with the knockout stage, as it stands, I love this little feature on BBC. If you want to check it out, bbc.com, you could check out the schedule and the standings, but they have like the as it stands, it's constantly moving. It's kind of like the situation of if the season ended today kind of narrative. So as it stands, Team USA still is going to play on July 2nd. And right now, as the winner of their group, of Group D, they would be hosting Bosnia-Herzegovina, who is currently playing Qatar. But that's obviously going to change based on that result. So we'll see who they will play on Thursday, July 2nd. They would be on the same side as Egypt and Cape Verde. And then again, still paired with Portugal, Ghana, Spain, and Austria for a chance to be in the quarterfinals, in the final 8, if you will, in the knockout stage. Again, that's one side of the bracket. That's also paired with Germany would be playing Paraguay, France and Sweden, South Korea and Switzerland. That would be a pretty fun matchup, Frank.
Mm-hmm.
And then Netherlands and Morocco on that side of the bracket of the knockout stage. Again, still a lot of soccer to be played in the group stage. Again, still, if we go to the third place rankings, because again, it's an expanded tournament this year where more teams make it out of the knockouts or out of the group stage into the knockout stage. I think Bosnia-Herzegovina's just got on the board.
Yes, they did. So it's 1-0. Still no score between Switzerland and Canada, but in the 29th minute, Bosnia-Herzegovina comes in with the goal.
And they're hanging on for dear life right now. They are currently in the third place rankings, the 8 out of 8 teams seeded. So they're on the qualifying line, if you will. So as of right now, the third place rankings, Sweden, Scotland are at the top with 1-2. Croatia's 3, Algeria's 4, Paraguay, Cape Verde, Belgium, and Bosnia-Herzegovina round up the 8 that would be qualified for the next round. Czechia, Congo, Ecuador, Senegal are trying to battle their way into the top 8. Czechia, with their 1 point, I mean, you talked about they're playing later on tonight, right?
Yes,
they're
playing Mexico tonight.
That's a must-win for Czechia. Not a must-win for Mexico. Mexico's already won the group. So Czechia, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Belgium, Congo. I mean, these are, it just switched. Since it is live, since Bosnia-Herzegovina got the one goal, it counts as a win on this thing because they're leading as it stands. Bosnia-Herzegovina just went from 8-1 on this website for the third place ranking.
Oh, there you go.
So that changes everything. Now Belgium's 8th on the list. So now in the group, because they got the 1-0 lead, this is fun. This is great. I love this little thing that BBC's done. Since that has happened, Bosnia and Herzegovina has now jumped up to the 3 spot in their particular group, and they're at 4 points. They also have Canada and Switzerland as a draw right now because of the fact that they're tied in the 31st minute of play. So if you were to go on that website right now, Frank, you would see what the standings look like with those games being already completed, even though they're still going on, which is pretty cool. So as it stands really means as it stands right now.
No, it absolutely does. And it's really fun to watch and see how that changes. And it'll continue to change over the course of the next about, 4 days or so?
Yeah. They still have United States playing Bosnia-Herzegovina, though. I don't know how that part works out. Do you know how that part works out with how the groups work for like the knockout stage
usually,
with the threes?
With the threes, no.
Because it said like the 3 of this pool, this pool, this pool, or this pool combined. I guess if it was those pools, maybe. It just doesn't make any. It didn't. I don't know how that works.
It should be on the FIFA website that what the bracket is, like who will play who.
Yeah, let me take a look on here because I saw that before, but then I was like, oh, is that just certain seeds of the threes? But they had like a list of who they potentially could be. Let's take a look at the. Oh, I'm trying to find the actual. Oh, here we go. The knockout bracket. Okay, so Team USA is in Group D, correct?
Yes.
So they actually already are on this little sheet. They've already punched their ticket. It says 3, and then it says BEFIJ. So I guess it would be the 3 of
it'd be the
5.
3 of one of those groups. Yeah, wherever they're ranked. Yeah, whichever one is ranked, it'll be the third. It'll be the number 3 from one of those groups. However, they're ranked overall.
Okay, yeah, because then they have the other one is like 3 of A, B, C, D, F, and then they have the 3 of C, D, F, G, H, and then they have the 3 of A, E, H, I, J. It's kind of chaotic on that,
or it could be very simple, like on Sunday, where the second place finisher in Group A is going to play the second place finisher in Group B as the first match of the knockout stage. It could be that simple.
As of right now, again on the standings, what do those lines mean? FIFA standings. Oh, live qualified, confirmed qualified. So I guess that's the same thing as with Bosnia-Herzegovina getting a goal. They all of a sudden become like a live qualified. Canada and Switzerland live qualified. Qatar it's live eliminated right now. Going down the list again for the stand of the groups.
Live, you suck too much.
Live, you're not going to keep playing at this point.
Oh God, the games will start till 1 tomorrow. What the heck are we going to watch? What are we going to watch in studio?
I don't know. Mexico has clinched a spot, correct? Team USA has clinched a spot. In Group C, Haiti has already been eliminated. Turkey's been eliminated in Group D. In Group E, Germany has advanced. In Group F, Tunisia.
Bosnia just got another one.
Update the standings. Tunisia's been eliminated. Moving down, France and Norway have advanced. Argentina has advanced. Jordan has been eliminated. Colombia has advanced, and Panama has been eliminated. That is the latest on the World Cupdate. Let's just wait for this to update real quick, and we'll see where the standings go.
It shouldn't change. If they're number 1 out of the threes, then that should be. It's a own goal
Yeah, they're going to be another. And then it's just going to go back. It's just they're going to add another goal on their goals for, right? Because they're not going to get any point differential. They're not going to change anything on the points. They have currently 4 points as they're playing out. So anyway, that is the World Cupdate for you. When we come back, we need a contestant for a midday sports standoff. It's World Cup related today.
Yes, it is.
If you're the first one to call in, or actually, if you call in, take me down in sports trivia, you will be qualified for an opportunity to win a trip to Vegas, a grand prize, a 2-night stay at Town & Country Resort, and a $250 food and beverage credit. Work on your resting vacation face this summer at Town & Country Resort. 3 pools and a 4-story water slide named Twister make Town & Country a family favorite. Rates start at $199 per night, exclusively for fan listeners. Visit towncountry.com/thefan to book now. towncountry.com/thefan to book now. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. We will get to that when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. Setting us over on Sports Station 97.3 The Fan.
Ben and Woods on The Fan.
Former NBA star.
Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how.
Screen door cracked, ball game home. Man on the porch singing Barrett's home. 10-line leads to that gentle place between a collarbone and a stone cold face. That can boys all
12:41 on a Wednesday. Padres trying to get their third win of the series. A sweep of the Atlanta Braves tonight at 5:40. Ecowater SoCal Padres pregame show at 4:40. Bosnia-Herzegovina. What did Juan say it was?
It's Govina now because, he brought it up.
Bosnia-Herzegovina?
I'm saying it how I want to say it because he tortures me in the chat every single day. So I'm going to torture him for a little while.
Bosnia-Herzegovina is up 2-0 on Qatar.
Could suck it up for another 2 weeks. I've had a year of taking his nonsense.
Swiss and Canada are still tied. They are scoreless. We are going to get to our midday sports standoff in just a little bit. But Team USA tomorrow in action against Turkey. It doesn't really matter what happens for the Team USA. They are going to be the winner of their pool. But it's kind of nice, Frank, if they get a clean sweep.
Oh, it would be. It would be great. It'd be a great momentum boost for sure for them to be able to get out and get a win.
So
to sweep the group.
I'm excited to see that tomorrow. What time does that game start? You said so right now you're going to get all the groups are playing at this the teams. The 2 games per group are going to play at the same time, and you're going to get like 6 games a day from here on
so
out?
Group E will play at 1:00 tomorrow. Group F will be at 4, and then Group D will be at 7 tomorrow night.
A late night on a Thursday. What is Frank going to watch in studio? Too bad the Mets aren't on. Although Frank quickly turned that off.
Yeah, I didn't need to see that anymore, and it's gotten worse since I did. So I'm
no! Happy. What's the score now? Is Mr. Met pitching yet?
You're such a jerk. It was 10-3 at last check, and there's still 9 more innings to go today. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a doubleheader.
Oh,
is Mr. and Mrs. Met still doing the long boat with the Norwegians?
I hope they're shipping some of the players out on a long boat. That's for sure.
Did Dansby Swanson hit a grand slam too? He's got a 3-run homer and a grand slam today. You do know he's got the worst batting average in all of baseball, right? This is just too fun at this point.
I hate you so much.
You know why I'm doing this? Because you're starting to care about the Mets again. Did they start winning a couple of games? It wasn't my week to watch them.
No, this is the first time I've watched them since the NBA Finals ended.
Yeah, I think you should just watch those stupid videos of Knicks fans going crazy in the streets and being interviewed. What are those called again? Who makes those?
I don't know.
The street side,
sure.
whatever that is. I think you should just watch those on loop and just embrace the Knicks for the rest of the baseball season.
I'm going
to take you away from the New York Mets.
I'm going to embrace my villain arc here in a minute. Is what's going to happen.
We need to get to today's midday sports standoff.
Do we? Oh, actually, yes, we do, because it'll take away from this pain.
Welcome to Midday Sports Standoff on the Braden Surprenant Show.
I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
The ultimate head-to-head battle where sports knowledge and quick thinking collide.
No, it's no good. Are you kidding me?
Contestants will go toe-to-toe with Braden in a sports trivia deal where every correct answer brings them closer to victory.
Down the sideline! Wow! Unbelievable!
But 3 strikes and it's game over.
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Can you outsmart Braden? The Midday Sports Standoff starts now.
All right, Frankie, we got playing today.
See, this just goes to show how good a person I am, because I'm taking the high road on this one after he consistently makes fun of me in the chat, including while he's on hold. Juan in Oceanside. Juan, how you doing today, bud?
I'm doing
well.
I
don't really care. No, I'm kidding. How are you doing today, Juan?
I'm doing well.
Good. All right. So today, as Braden said, we are in a World Cup topic today. The last time the World Cup was in the United States was in 1994. We are getting into the knockout stage, and that's too many teams. So the quarterfinals, which 8 teams were in the quarterfinals the last time the World Cup was in the United States? Juan, you have the first guess.
I'll take the winner. I think it was Italy.
Italy was there. Thank you for the recognition.
Viva l'Italia.
Well, you know what? Most of Frank's questions usually result in one of his teams being one of the answers, and they can't be the Mets. So Italy being a part of it is not surprising to me. Germany. I'm sure they were there.
Germany was there, yes. Juan?
I'm going to go... I'm trying to think. All right, I'm not going to overthink it. France?
Nope, France was not in the quarterfinals of the 94 World Cup.
I correctly guessed this country when you would you do finals or something like that? And it was around the 90s, so maybe they were good around then. Sweden?
They were there, yes. Sweden was. Juan?
I think Colombia.
No, Colombia was not there.
Really?
Well,
there's still some big names on the board.
Well, let's go with the one that won. I thought Juan was going to get there early. Brazil won it that year.
Brazil. Juan, you need this one for multiple reasons. The most prominent one is that you have 2 strikes on you.
It's because I don't remember. This is the only World Cup I don't remember that well. In terms of that, I wasn't alive.
Same.
Is it England?
Juan, I am sorry. No, it was not England. England was not there.
Rude of Frank to pick a question that predates Juan's existence. I think he did that on purpose.
Yeah, because I knew Juan was calling in
it was
today.
a whole elaborate scheme. He knew that Juan wasn't tuned in for the last couple of days. He finally gets Juan back in here, and he's like, yep, that's what we're going to do.
This has been up as the next question for the last week and a half. And we just haven't gotten to it because we've had days off and good topics that have just blown right through it. This has literally been a week and a half in the making.
How many are we missing?
We're missing half of them. We're missing 4.
Oh, man. Okay.
Since we're on, 2 of them are ranked in the top 10 right now.
Spain,
yes. Spain was one of them. One more big name nation, and then 2 that are on the Eastern European side of the Iron Curtain.
Argentina? No, that's not one of the big ones, I guess.
Well, no, they are a big one, but they're not. They're all in Europe.
Oh, okay. So we said Italy and Spain.
France wasn't one of them. Spain, Germany, Brazil, Sweden. France was not one of them.
Oh.
England was not one of them.
Are they playing right now?
No, they are not playing right now.
So it's not Switzerland?
No.
Dang it. You said all 3 are in Europe?
They're orange.
Oh, the Dutch.
Netherlands, correct.
Netherlands.
And then these 2 are the harder ones.
We're thinking about like
Eastern
European.
Yes.
Okay. Romania. Wow.
Nice.
Albania. There's no way they made it that far. Bulgaria. They all sound the same.
You. Romania, Sweden, Netherlands, Brazil, Bulgaria, Germany, Italy, and Spain were the quarterfinals of the 94 World Cup.
I was doing some trivia last night as we were watching the Padres with my friend, and I asked her, I was like, some of the ones that we've already done. She did a pretty good job.
Good.
Like it was the 6, I think it was like 6 MLB teams whose cap logo is not actually their city. You got those for me?
Wait,
the six MLB teams whose cap logo is not their city. One of them is a trick question because it is their city, but it's not what they go by. There are 6 of them. 2 of them don't even have words on their deal. 2 of them in the American League East. One's in the American League Central.
Orioles
are
and Blue
one.
Jays.
Yep, and the Blue Jays. That's 2. You have 2 in the Central.
The Brewers do. The American League Central or the NL
American
Central?
League Central. That don't list their city.
The White Sox.
White Sox. Just say Sox. That is correct.
The Twins? Because
Yes.
it's TC?
That's the trick one. They're not called the Twin City Twins. They're called the Minnesota Twins.
What was the last division?
Hang on one second. I'm going to double check my deal here.
Colorado. No, they do.
The Rockies
they
have
CR.
C. Oh, it's they're both in the American League West. Which gives it away.
The American League just hates their
city moniker. Well, now one of them used to
the Angels.
kind of count. Yeah, the Angels, because now it's LA and they have an A, which would have worked when it was Anaheim. So one more team. In fact, why would you ever put a city on their hat? They're never in one for a long time ever. The Athletics.
Mm-hmm.
The A's just have A's on there. You already got this one too because you answered the other ones. Like, who are the two teams that don't have letters?
The Orioles and
Blue Jays.
Okay, fair enough.
Yes,
Orioles do have the
little O,
hat
very
and the
small.
bird.
Yeah, but their main logo is a bird. Yeah. The 2 birds have it.
Das Burb.
Das Burb. Yeah, it was pretty fun. I was doing that last night. So,
nice.
Yeah. Halftime. Swiss and Canada scoreless. Bosnia and Qatar. Bosnia leads 2-0.
They score full.
I don't know why did it click on the Baltimore Orioles on here. All right. So when we come back in the 1 o'clock hour, we're going to talk more Padres baseball, get back to a situation with their game tonight against the Braves. We didn't do a bold prediction last night.
No, we did not.
I almost texted you a bold prediction of
bold prediction. Samad Taylor gets 3 hits. Oh wait, look at that.
Hey, look, Frank got it right this time.
Let's go. Braden got his right on Monday. I got mine right yesterday.
You know what? You were right, but too early.
Yeah.
You were 1 off because you said Jackson Merrill would go 3 for 4. So that is too early. And then being 1 off, he plays center and Samad plays left.
Yep.
So
he was also batting 3rd in the lineup compared to Taylor hitting second. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I thought last night's game was a good description of the season, and the bold predictions are a great description of Frank. Right, but too early and 1 off. Even on that was great. I love how we made that work right there. My bold prediction last night was going to be some type of offensive thing. So maybe it would have hit, maybe it wouldn't have. But we got to do that again today. We forgot about it yesterday.
Griffin Canning goes 2/3 of the inning.
Oh man, definitely not. Definitely not.
Well, no, that would be pretty bold because he ain't gonna pitch today.
Oh man, that's painful. The emotions. Qatar's scored a goal. It's 2-1.
Yes, they have. Yes.
When we come back, we take a look at Major League Baseball. 11 takeaways from the first half of the season. Get to that next. 1:00 on a Wednesday. Beautiful day out there in America's finest city. Summertime. Had the summer solstice over the weekend. No better way to experience the longest day of the year on Sunday, Frank, than a NASCAR race, huh?
No kidding.
No wonder you felt like it was the longest weekend of the year. It actually was.
There have been I've seen some long weekends. That was a long weekend, a properly long weekend.
Are you dialed in already for Sonoma? All the O'Reilly trucks showed up today or yesterday.
Yep. Saw that. Ready to go. This weekend's going to be fun. Final road course race of the year. So we're driving in circles now from here on out.
SVG going to win it. Extra motivated after he got wiped out. Two Red Bull guys that are usually used to winning those races get wiped out in San Diego.
And they're going to both be in the O'Reilly race on Saturday as well. So
were they in the O'Reilly race here?
No, they couldn't. They couldn't double up. The only two that were allowed to were Jimmy Johnson and Austin Hill. Austin Hill would not have been allowed had.
Correct.
Yeah.
That makes sense. 833-288-973, 833-288-973. Continue our NASCAR coverage on YouTube. YouTube.com/@B_SURP. We have videos there all the time. And if you watch us on YouTube, you can see during the breaks that we have updates for you on all the other sports. And if you want to see those in full, they are on our YouTube page. Subscribe to our YouTube page. It's free to do. If you become a member, you get a discount code for shirts for our page as well. So we have a new Shopify account. We have a new thing where we sell merch, gear for the Braden Surprenant show. Just had some blue and orange ones come in. I will be posting those online very shortly once they come in the mail. But we do have some gear for you to rock around. I've been seeing a lot around San Diego, which is great. We appreciate you guys doing that and supporting us and supporting this show. Again, if you haven't done so already, the link is in the bio or in the description below. You can also find it on the videos. They usually flash around a little bit on there, but we have 3 shirts that you can get right now. We have a 1980s looking Padres color scheme, right? Brown and orange shirts. We have, and I don't know, you know what? I don't know why Clay in the South Bay hasn't gotten that one yet for the Browns. It looks just like the Browns. And then we have the graphic tee on there as well, white t-shirt with our graphic design on the back, which is fun. And then we also have a blue and gold one on there as of right now. We have more, though, coming shortly soon. So if you haven't done so already, get a shirt. Easy to do. Usually shows up in like a day or two. Doesn't really take very long for me to get them out to you guys. So I know Juan Ruiz has gotten one in the YouTube chat. Our guy Nate Taylor's gotten one. We have a lot of people that have gotten shirts on there as well. So we appreciate you guys supporting. And if you haven't done so already, get a shirt. They're very comfortable, Frank. I mean, the ones that I've been wearing, the ones that we have that we've worn so far, very comfortable.
Very soft, yes.
Very soft. Smooth, soft. I'll let Rod, Nate, Juan in the YouTube chat. Maria got one as well. Let them vouch for me on that. We haven't gotten to the topic of hand that's been on our sheet for a couple of days, but kind of the early storylines and the 11 things that we've learned about the baseball season so far as we get closer to the halfway point of this baseball season. MLB.com wrote an article about it. We take a deeper dive right now.
Let the anticipation for the music build and not me trying to focus on one thing, transitioning to the other, not wasting time at all. All right, so far, the MLB awards races are wide open after the first half of the season. For the first time in years, the MVP and Cy Young races do not feel like real coronations. The MVP race, the recent trend of repeat winners appears to be ending with Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani after winning back-to-back. Judge's rib cage has been injured for the last couple of months. That opens the American League race.
Yordan Alvarez, Bobby Witt Jr., Nicholas Kurtz, and Ben Rice seem to be four of the guys there. The Cy Young race also wide open. Cam Schlittler, Davis Martin, Jose Soriano, Parker Messick, Dylan Cease, Nick Martinez in the American League. The National League, Paul Skeens remains the top contender, but the field includes Jacob Mizorowski, Christopher Sanchez, Shohei Ohtani, Chris Sale, and Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
This is like one of the first, like you mentioned, it's the first time it doesn't feel like a coronation of just a honoring an annual thing where the monarchy of baseball just gets their reward, and it's the same person every single time. You mentioned it. Aaron Judge being hurt, I think, opens the door for the MVP race, and you got 4 contenders in there. Like, I'm not super into MVPs, and I'm not super into the Hall of Fame. But, like, does Bobby Witt Jr. get hit because his team's not very good?
Yep.
Yeah, probably. I mean, these guys never, like, a lot of the voters always vote for the best player on the best team, it seems like. Yordan Alvarez, that's another one. Like, the Astros aren't very good. I could see Nick Kurtz being able to do it or be able to get it. I don't, Ben Rice would get votes just because of the fact that he's a Yankee. But there's a lot of candidates available. The Cy Young race is very big in the American League right now. Very close race as well. And, with Ohtani being a part of the mix, but not putting up like the biggest numbers, it kind of opens the door on the Cy Young side of things. But you got a lot of pitchers in the National League that are doing a lot of great things. Jacob Mizorowski looks unhittable. Paul Skeens has come back down to earth a little bit this year, but he's still one of the best. Christopher Sanchez, he had all those. How many innings did he finish consecutive scoreless innings? That was 40. Crazy, right? Chris Sales looked good for the Braves. Yamamoto almost had a no-hitter not too long ago. So this is a very deep race for the NL Cy Young, and that's like, we go ahead and put that back to the beginning of the year. Can Mason Miller win a Cy Young award? That's if everybody, like, if there's no real winner in the Cy Young, no real like dominant pitcher for in the National League. Unfortunately for Mason Miller, this is a year where they got like 5 guys that can win it. So I think it changes a little bit on the what's it called, on the Cy Young. But this is the more open. It's not like, I don't think it's a foregone conclusion with the MVP and Cy Young this year, Frank.
No, it's certainly not. There have been a lot of guys who have had the quality in order to win that thing. The American League, completely up for grabs. The American League has been surprisingly mediocre. The league is currently tracking towards its worst collective winning percentage ever at approximately .483. The Yankees are the only American League team with an elite run differential, and even New York has not separated itself from the pack just yet.
Yeah, the American League is wild. The American League this season, here's another one too that we haven't talked about yet. Have you seen the run differentials of the American League?
I've seen some of them. Yeah, they're not good.
Let me ask you this question. How many teams in the American League have a positive run differential without looking? If you had to guess.
I think it was 3, is it not?
It's 2. Tampa is they're even. 333 runs scored, 333 runs against. And they're not even close, too, by the way. The Yankees are plus 111 on their run differential. And the Seattle Mariners are plus 18. Everybody else is a negative except for Tampa, who is 0. They have a even run differential. American League, folks. American League. This is what makes it interesting, though. Like, the National League is all stuck together for playoff spots because everybody's playing well, including teams like the Nationals are above 500. Arizona's been struggling, but they're only 2 games out. Pittsburgh's a game under. They're 3 games out of a wild card spot. The National League is super competitive because everybody's really good. The American League's super competitive because everybody's really bad. How do these mediocre teams sell at the deadline? Do they sell, or do they think you're in it? If you're the A's and you're 3 games under 500, but you're a game out of the wild card, are you buying or selling at the deadline? This has massive effects on the trade deadline in a lot of ways, because if you're looking at records, you would say Toronto down in the American League would be sellers, but they're not, because Toronto right now is in a wild card spot with a losing record. It's crazy. It's crazy.
American League is always fun. The ABS challenge system has changed baseball more than we expected it. The ABS system was expected to be a minor adjustment, but it has become a major storyline. Teams are averaging 4.2 challenges per game. Challenges are being overturned 53% of the time. The strike zone has tightened, especially at the top. Walk rate is at its highest level since 2000 at 9.1%. League batting average has declined from 245 to 244, but on base percentage has increased from 3.15 to 3.20.
I like the ABS system. I think it's helping hitter. My dad said this the other day, and it's totally true. These are game-changing decisions on these reviews.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you just think about last year in the playoffs when Xander Bogaerts should have walked in that last inning that could have led to maybe a big inning for the Padres that had their season on the line. That stuff happens throughout the game, throughout the season, like every game throughout the season, and nobody freaks out about it because it's just random at bats. But like, think about all the games that we have seen for both the Padres and teams they're playing against. Game-changing decisions on just one ball, one strike call that affect the inning, that ultimately affect the game. I think it's making the batters better. I think it's making the pitchers better. I think it's making the action better. And I think it's making the umpires better. There's a lot of pitches that I see umpires not call strikes that they would call strikes in the years past. I think the report cards of these guys are getting better, because if they're off early on the zone and they get challenged, they go wrong, they can make the adjustment in game. I think that's great. I think ABS has been phenomenal this year, and I'm curious to see if they expand on that on the check swings, because they've talked about that.
It's also had that unintended benefit of having the crowd get into it on every single call.
It's fun.
So yeah, it's that was an unintended benefit of it as well. The White Sox are Major League Baseball's biggest surprise. 2 years removed from a modern era record for losses, Chicago has become one of the most entertaining teams in baseball. They have a young core with Munetaka Murakami establishing the tone before his injury at 20 home runs and 45 RBIs. They also have other young contributors, Colson Montgomery, Miguel Vargas, Chase Mygroth, and Tristan Peters. And they have Martin Davis and Sir Anthony Dominguez, who are anchoring the rotation and the bullpen.
Is this a real rebuild breakthrough? Just a fun first half story. I honestly think, first of all, I love Will Venable. I think Will Venable is doing a great job in Chicago. I think they got a lot of good young players. And like they are they not aren't the White Sox the biggest surprise? I mean, that have to be the biggest surprise.
Well, positive surprise
in Major League Baseball. I don't remember where we had them.
I think we had them fourth.
I didn't have them coming in last, though. I had the Twins coming in last. So the Twins are going to be bad. And right now, the White Sox are in first place.
Let me actually see.
They're in first place. They got a game above Cleveland. Again, Cleveland and Milwaukee are cockroaches. They never go away. You can't kill the Guardians or the Brewers. They will never go away. But I think they're the most positive surprise, biggest surprise of the baseball season for sure. And I don't think this is them getting lucky either. I mean, when they came to San Diego and they took 2 out of 3, they weren't, I mean, the Padres weren't playing that well, but the White Sox look good. They were pretty solid. They got some young players that do a lot of damage. And we talked about Murakami with 20 home runs, 41 RBIs, guys like Chase Mygroth, USD product. I mean, I think this is a real rebuild breakthrough more than it is a fun first half story. Now, they have to keep it up throughout the entire season, but I think this is a major step in the right direction for the White Sox org.
Yeah, they've really changed it. It's been very, very fun to watch for them.
Shohei Ohtani is becoming a legitimate Cy Young Award candidate. This might be the most ridiculous accomplishment in baseball. Ohtani is nearly 32 years old, coming off of major elbow surgery, still performing as a two-way player. The Dodgers have managed his workload strategically. He has he's averaged more than 6 innings per start. He has produced the best ERA plus of his career. I think the answer to this is clearly yes. Are we watching the greatest baseball player ever?
Yeah, he's good. Let's move on. I don't want to talk about this
I
anymore.
agree. The Brewers continue to defy baseball logic. Milwaukee keeps losing stars and keeps winning. The organization lost key pieces, trades veterans before decline, develops replacements. The latest example, Jacob Mizorowski, has gone from an intriguing prospect to a legitimate ace. The Brewers continue proving that player development can overcome payroll limitations to a point.
Yeah, they do defy logic. I mean, every year I just go like, I don't think the Brewers are going to be able to accept this. I don't think the Brewers are going to be able to pull this off. I don't think the Brewers are going to be able to stay at the top because they just keep pulling from their strengths and not re-signing guys, and they just keep replacing with the young guys, which is great. A lot of people want the Padres to do that, but you know what the Brewers and the Padres have in common?
Well, playing cold climates.
Yeah, there it is.
In October.
Yeah, or the fact that
with an empty ballpark,
neither of them win a World Series. It goes both ways. Like, you could be the Brewers and be competitive every year, and then like your young stars that you love don't stay, and they disappear. I don't necessarily know if that's something Padres fans want. I mean, we're talking about a fan base that really wanted Gary Sanchez back and Kyle Higashioka back, and Ryan O'Hearn, I think, would have been great. Like Josh Bell, like these are all the guys that the Padres fans like get success with and don't want to see anybody walk. But when you do that, you have to let players walk. On to the next one.
I was going to say, do you want to go to break or do you want to go to the next one?
Let's get to this last one and then we'll go to break.
Okay. The Nationals and Cardinals are not rebuilding as we expected. Both teams entered 2026 appearing to reset. Instead, they're competitive. The Cardinals, after trading Sonny Gray, Nolan Arenado, Wilson Contreras, and Brendan Donovan, have found energy through young players such as J.J. Weatherholt, Alec Burleson, Mason Wynn, and others. The Nationals have been powered by the two that we do not name here in this city.
Yeah, the Nationals are playing a lot better, but I don't think they're going to be there at the end of the year.
No, they're not.
And then I'm not a huge believer in the Cardinals being able to do this for an entire season because we've seen a lot of young teams like them kind of fall apart late, but we'll see. I mean, they have gone further along than I thought. Pulling one out of the Brewers book. Let's just have young guys and then not pay them. And then when they do get really good, we're just going to let them walk. Like Atlanta did too.
As you do.
When we come back, there's a couple more on this that we want to get to. Also, one team that might be the perfect trade partner with the Padres if they decide to sell. We'll talk about that when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, Standing Summer Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. Everyone's talking about Tarek Skubal and Joe Ryan, but don't sleep on under-the-radar names heading toward the MLB trade deadline. Colorado's Antonio Senzatella has reinvented himself in the bullpen and could become one of the most valuable relief arms available. Miami's Peter Fairbanks still throws 97, could be another sneaky bullpen addition. Royce Lewis heating up again in Minnesota. Reed Detmers quietly having a strong season with the Halos, and Zach Gallen could benefit from a change of scenery. Meanwhile, Luis Arraez continues to hit over 300 and has become one of the best defensive second basemen in baseball. Every year, we focus on the blockbuster trades, but championships are often won by the teams that find value where everyone else isn't looking. Biggest move at this year's deadline might not be the one making the headlines right now. With August 3rd trade deadline quickly approaching, much of the attention around baseball is centered around the big names like Tarek Skubal, Joe Ryan, Freddie Peralta, and Robbie Ray. But while those headline grabbers dominate the conversation, contenders are also searching for hidden gems who could make a huge impact in the second half. As history has shown, sometimes the moves that win championships, Frank, aren't the splashiest ones. They're the smartest ones. First name that comes to mind, 2021 Atlanta Braves, who went and got 3 new outfielders and ended up winning a World Series.
Absolutely. And relief pitching also very, very important down the stretch. Every contender is looking for bullpen help. And a couple of intriguing names are beginning to emerge. Colorado's Antonio Senzatella has reinvented himself after moving from the starting rotation to the bullpen. Since making the transition and altering his pitch mix, he's posted excellent numbers and suddenly looks like one of the Rockies' most attractive trade pieces. Meanwhile, Miami closer Pete Fairbanks could become one of the best relievers available if the Marlins decide to sell. His ERA may not jump off the page, but his velocity and swing and miss stuff remain intact, making him a potential buy low candidate for playoff hopefuls. Bullpen arms always become expensive in July, and that trend figures to continue.
Position versatility is becoming more valuable than ever. Modern front offices love flexibility, and several players who can move around the diamond are drawing attention. Washington's Curtis Mead has enjoyed a breakout season while playing multiple infield positions. Oswald Peraza, now with the Angels, can play second, third, shortstop, and even the outfield, making him a useful piece for contenders looking to strengthen their bench. Versatility becomes even more valuable in October when roster flexibility can determine postseason matchups. I think of Ben Zobrist, right? And the long run that they had with the Chicago Cubs, being the versatile player. But Minnesota's Royce Lewis could become one of the most fascinating names on the market, despite the fact that he is very much injury prone.
Yep. Lewis has always had star level talent. The issue is he's never been healthy in order to show it long enough. After a difficult start to the season that included a trip back to AAA St. Paul, Lewis has caught fire and is once again showing the offensive upside that made him one of baseball's top prospects. At just 27 and capable of playing multiple positions, he can be an attractive option for teams seeking help in the infield. One question remains: will he be able to stay healthy long enough for the trade to mean something?
Teams are desperate for starting pitching, but they might have more options than they realize. While everyone is focused on Tarik Skubal and Joe Ryan, several other teams could emerge. Angels left-hander Reed Detmers is quietly putting together a strong season and remains under team control for multiple years, making him extremely appealing. Arizona's Zach Gallen has endured an uneven campaign, but contenders know his ceiling. Sometimes a change of scenery is exactly what a veteran needs to rediscover his all-star form. Secondary arms could end up being just as important as a lot of the marquee names, but offense could be hard to find, and that's significant here in San Diego, who's looking for a couple of bats potentially at the trade deadline.
Yeah, several contenders are searching for right-handed power and lineup depth. The Texas Rangers have slugger Jake Berger, who we saw earlier last weekend, remaining one of the players to watch. He has legitimate power, and while he doesn't provide elite on-base skills, plenty of playoff teams need more home run production. And then you also have another guy that we're very familiar with here, San Francisco's Luis Arraez, representing the opposite type of offensive player, bringing elite contact ability, gets on base consistently, and has dramatically improved defensively. His versatility at first and second base could make him an ideal fit for contenders looking for lineup balance. That's the infield, though. The outfield also has some pretty interesting options.
Which is also rough for the Padres. They're looking for a bat, and they're looking for guys in the corner outfield spots. And the outfield depth is, well, limited. There aren't many outfielders expected to be available, which makes Colorado's Mickey Moniak particularly interesting. It's not big bang banking. It's better. We got a couple more of these takeaways from the baseball season. We have a couple of minutes here, and then I want to dive into a team that it just came out today, a team that if they decide to trade, I think would probably be a really good trade partner for the Padres. We'll break that down in the final segment of today's show. Okay, I don't really care about the left-handed hitters are taking over. I don't really care. Here's the numbers on that. This is a takeaway from MLB.com about the first half of the season. Teams have adjusted roster construction. More than 69 left-handed hitters are now on pace to qualify for the batting title. That would be the most since 1942. Left-handed hitters have produced a 325 weighted on base average, their best mark since 2017. Big left-handed bats: Ohtani, Yordan Alvarez, Nick Kurtz, Juan Soto, Kyle Schwarber, James Wood. I mean, I'm not surprised as a fellow lefty hitter. Yeah, we're obviously better than everybody else. So let's move on to the next thing. Okay, so I think these next three involve the Padres in some particular case. Here's how I want this order to go. Let's go 11 because of the series that we have right now, 9, and then 10.
Gotcha. All right, so the Bravos are back, or at least they were. After missing the postseason last year,
back.
Atlanta has responded. Michael Harris, the second, has taken a major step forward. Drake Baldwin has emerged. Chris Sale remains elite. And the manager transition to Walt Weiss has worked, even with the injuries to Ronald Acuna Jr. and Spencer Strider. Atlanta keeps on winning.
Yeah, they are back. I think they are. I mean, I don't think these last two games, Frank, eliminate the fact that in the first half of the season,
they still do be good.
They are really good, and they're a team you're going to have to deal with. And to be honest with you, like that's why like winning those two games the last 2 days have been so clutch for this Padres team, because this is a team you're going to have to compete with, and it doesn't matter how good you look or how poor you look in this process. You got to win games. That's all that really matters at this point, is winning games. Padres have taken 2 games from Atlanta. They're looking to sweep. It would be huge if they swept the Atlanta Braves going into an off day and then going into a series against the Los Angeles Dodgers this weekend, because it doesn't get much easier. They got the Cubs after that, and then they got the Dodgers again for the 4th of July weekend. So it's getting here quick.
No, it definitely is. All right, the next one on the list, Tarek Skubal. Trade rumors will not stop. The Tigers are facing a major decision. The situation is that they did not extend Tarek Skubal. They did not trade him during the offseason. Injuries and inconsistencies have hurt the Tigers over the course of the season. And if they fall out of contention, you think the trade rumors around Skubal now are bad, they're going to explode.
I think, yeah. I would be shocked if he's not dealt. The Tigers are 34-45. I know they're only 5 games out of a wild card spot, but like Tarek Skubal's the type of player, since he is in his last year of his deal, and he is most likely not going to re-sign with Detroit. At least we think, because I think they're going to get outbid.
I think the only way that they don't trade him is if they do re-sign him. You have to trade him otherwise.
Well, that doesn't stop a lot of teams from doing things like that. I just look at the Angels, who ended up not re-signing Ohtani, and they just let him walk at the end of the year. I don't think they're going to be able to re-sign him. Isn't he a Boras guy?
Yes.
And what does Scott Boras players do? They go to the open market. So unless there's a guarantee that you can outbid everybody for Tarek Skubal to stay in the Tigers uniform, you might as well trade him at the deadline for a rental. Hey, guess what? I mean, you could still theoretically trade him for a haul and then re-sign him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to go to the open market. If you trade, even if they traded him to LA, I'm sure the Dodgers will be talking to him about an extension. But even if that, like, to me, that's like worst case scenario. If that's the case, they still have a chance in the open market, because you know Scott Boras is not going to let his guy not go to the open market. They're going to the open market. Mm-hmm. It would be foolish for them not to trade him at the deadline. It really would. And I think he is going to be traded at the deadline. I would give it a 75% chance of happening right now. And the only reason why it's at that level and not higher is because the Tigers might be able to climb into contention. But to me, I feel like the Tigers have to be like in a division winning spot more so than being the under 500 wild card team to have it make sense for them to not trade Tarek Skubal at the deadline.
It would also be interesting about going and wanting to sign a contract early is the CBA.
Yeah.
If they're going to get, that might help the Tigers in that case, is because, hey, listen, we're going to push for a cap, and we're going to get it because we have public opinion on our side. You can sign this mega deal right now and be grandfathered in, or you can get a hell of a lot less money by waiting it out and then having to conform to the salary cap.
Yeah, you know what? That's also a good point.
Final one here on this list. The Mets and Red Sox are under pressure.
Oh, really?
two big market disappointments. The Red Sox.
One of them's under more pressure because they're under the pressure of Frank Marchese
and Frank the Tank.
You brought him up, not me.
I did. No, I did.
You did.
Problems built around for the Red Sox. Their problems are built around pitching and defense, which is like, I don't know, 2/3 of the game. The offense has struggled. Well, there's the other third.
There's the other third.
Fenway Park has become difficult because they cannot consistently score. For the Mets, their struggles are dating back a full calendar year, plenty of injuries, a winter roster overhaul, the fact that Kodai Senga still exists on the roster, the fact that David Peterson is god-awful, Sean Manaea is back and forth between the bullpen and the starting rotation, can't get Francisco Lindor healthy. Francisco Alvarez is now on a consistent Ronald Acuna trip where he's going to the IL every single season.
How's Luis Robert Jr. doing?
He's still on the IL because, oh, wow, we traded for an injury-prone player who's now injured. Jorge Polanco is the new Jed Lowry. There, I can keep going.
Yeah, it's not good. What's the score of the game today?
The fact that Kodai Senga is still playing Major League Baseball right now is a miracle to me.
Mets are 34-45, 8 games out of a wild card. Red Sox are 32-45. Worst record, they're only 6 games out of a wild card.
They lost 10-3 and still have 9 innings to play.
Oh, man.
Bless you.
They got the second leg of the doubleheader. Okay.
Can we go back to the good old days when we were beating Paul Skeens' brains in?
Day one?
Yeah.
First game of the year while we were live at Baja Ricks?
Can we go back to the good old days?
That's why opening day means nothing. That's why the result of opening day means nothing. Right there. The Mets destroyed the Pirates and Paul Skeens on opening day, and they're the worst team in the National League.
It's still real
to just me. Kidding. You're better than Colorado and San Francisco.
It's still real to me.
This is just a bad dream, dude. Just got to wake up, pinch yourself or something. Red Sox are interesting to me. And the Red Sox, I think, are under a little bit more pressure because of the fact that they were actually expected to be a lot better this year. I mean, the Mets have their own problems. And I think the Mets, I don't know why they haven't fired everybody yet, but I would imagine they're probably going to do it at the end of the year.
I don't know how. I really don't know how they haven't.
The Red Sox are interesting to me because they're still relatively in contention, which means they need to make a decision on whether or not they should be sellers at the deadline. But if they are, do things line up with the Padres? We'll discuss next.
Speaking of line up with the Padres,
get the lineup when we come back as well. Braden Surprenant Show, Static Zone Sports Station 97 through the Fan. It is over. Final segment of the Braden Surprenant Show. We'll be back tomorrow with the epic Padres Roundtable presented by Epic Wings. I think we have Jesse and Tony in tomorrow.
Yes, I believe that
Those are the guests for tomorrow's show. That should be fun.
If I remember correctly,
I
was only half awake last week.
Are you going to be half awake next week?
Duh.
I have to ask, though, are we doing a roundtable next week?
I would have to think.
Because we're doing the morning. But is anybody doing our show?
Yeah, we're doing our show.
We're doing the double?
Yeah.
So is there a roundtable next Thursday? Or is it just going to be us?
I don't know. I hope there is a roundtable.
Maybe Frank's on the roundtable. Yeah.
I'd be okay with that. I'll jump on the roundtable.
Juan in the YouTube chat. I'm going to be hungover again tomorrow, Birdland. I just love how he just calls it Birdland, too. Fire it up.
Hey, Birdland.
Hey, Birdland. How's Birdland doing?
They just tied it. San Pasayo just tied it up.
No, there you go.
In Anaheim, where we would be off right now, we'd be home watching the game on a Wednesday.
Yeah. Or in Colorado.
Or in Colorado, yeah.
Where the Red Sox have a 6-3 lead on the Colorado Rockies.
New York.
It's a doubleheader today. Doubleheader of pain today.
We would have been
Citi
off.
Field.
We would have been off, and so would Gwyn and Chris would have been off.
We also wouldn't be talking about the Mets. We'd be talking about the Giants and probably still be celebrating the Knicks.
Yep.
Wouldn't have to talk about the Mets.
Nope.
Or Miami, I guess. Marlins beat the Rangers 4-2. Okay. Let's get into this conversation of the Boston Red Sox. Now, today, Mark Feinsand put out an article about if the Boston Red Sox are going to be sellers, these 5 could be prime candidates. How does that fit with the Padres? I find this to be interesting. I find this to be a team that I think lines up a lot with what the Padres could potentially be looking for at the trade deadline. And so what we did was we kind of like rated it from top to bottom of the Padres fit, if you will. And I think the Padres and Red Sox line up on a lot of different things. I'm not saying it's their best option, but I do find it interesting as we continue to look for trade candidates, trade deadline moves for the Padres about who might be able to be available for them to acquire. Where can they make some moves on the some small moves on the margins? Where can they improve this team? Because yesterday, Frank, the Padres beat the Braves for the second time. They win the series, but everybody was talking about all the problems that they still have despite winning. And the only way you can address problems at this point is by making a trade or a couple at the trade deadline. There's really nothing more you can do aside from that.
Right. Agreed.
So let's look at the big picture of what Mark Feinsand wrote about. You mentioned the Red Sox appear headed towards a selling mode after falling to 31-45 and projecting toward a 66-win season. That being said, what did I say the Red Sox were? They were like 6 games out or something like that of a wild card spot. They're 14 and a half games out of first place. 6 games out of a wild card spot doesn't seem like a lot. But when you're 32-45 on the year and you just happen to be 6 games out because everybody in the American League stinks, it's kind of hard to like sell to people like, oh, we should be buyers at the deadline. So Boston has several intriguing trade pieces, but the biggest question for the Padres, of course, is not simply who is available. It is who actually fits this Padres roster construction, the payroll reality, prospect capital, and of course the timeline. And for San Diego, obviously the trade deadline conversation likely centers around adding offense without trying to take out a bad contract. Although that being said, it sounds like the Padres could be in a position to do that. Finding another impact arm without sacrificing the farm system, adding bullpen depth for October. Everybody's always doing that. As well as finding players who can help now and fit beyond 2026. Padres are not necessarily in a position where they should simply chase a recognizable name, but they need some impact and value. And so out of the players that were listed And there were a lot listed that the Red Sox could potentially trade. It's guys like Brian Bello. It's guys like Aroldis Chapman. It's guys like Wilson Contreras. It's guys like Sonny Gray. And it's guys like Jaron Duran. According to a lot of these metrics and how based on the criteria where players fit out of that group, who do you think would be the most of a fit, best match for the Padres out of those 5 players?
I honestly, I would like to see Brian Bello come in. Sonny Gray would be a solid fit, but you have a lot more control over Brian Bello. So I would go for Bello on that one.
Bello's getting $9.1 million. The problem with Bello, though, is like I just feel like you would have to give up a little bit more. I mean, I guess it's a buy low candidate. I mean, he's signed to a 6-year, $55 million contract extension. 1-4, the 9.12 ERA was demoted to AAA. I mean, he has had proven success in 2025 at a 3.35 ERA, 162 and 2/3 innings. It's the type of player that AJ Preller historically targets. He's young, he's under control, high upside, bounce back opportunity, multiple years of control. I don't really know if the Red Sox are just going to give him up that easily. I really don't.
I don't think so either, but I don't think Jaron Duran's going to be worth the haul that you're going to have to get to give up for him.
He's going to be cheaper than he was last year. He's only got 2 years of control.
You're still going to have to give up,
and he's
quite
30
a bit for him, though.
I don't necessarily think the Red Sox are in that kind of situation. Now, here's the thing, though, with Bello or Bayo, whatever his name is. Bayo. I mean, he's not necessarily that would be a move, I think, more for the future than it would be for this year. Again, based on his numbers. He's 2-6 with a 6.34 ERA. He's got a negative 1.4 WAR, 12 games, 8 games started. I mean, you would be trading for a 28-year-old that has put up Griffin Canning numbers this year. So you'd be eliminating. You would be replacing Griffin Canning with a younger Griffin Canning in terms of like the numbers, and you would have him under control for a long time, hoping that he could go back to the form that he was in 2025, where he was 11-9 with a 3.35 ERA. His career ERA is a 4.32. He does have a good strikeout to walk ratio, but is that guy going to help your rotation right now? I don't really feel like it is. I mean, you're adding a guy with the same numbers as the guys you already have. I don't necessarily know if that's going to, I mean, a change of scenery would be the only thing you're looking for here. And of course it would be, you get a young controllable arm. So hopefully with him in the organization work out, but people weren't very patient with JP Sears and he's pitching tonight. I don't necessarily know if that's going to help you this year. Jaron Duran obviously is going to cost potentially a lot, but the reason why it might work out for him in the Padres, I mean, he's the most interesting name on this list for San Diego. Padres have had, rumors about, there's been rumors about him too, but I mean, his 2026 numbers are not very good. I think that pulls a little bit more leverage too for the Padres because Jaron Duran is hitting under 200. He's hitting 199. He's got 12 home runs, but he's hitting under 200 with a 624 OPS. His OPS plus is 75. He doesn't cost a lot in terms of a contract, but, I know 2 years ago he had 21 home runs and 75 RBIs. I felt like we were having this conversation last year at this time where maybe Jaron Duran has already reached his peak at age 26 and 27 because he has slowly started to regress. 2025, he had decent numbers, but not the best. 2026, it continues to get worse. I mean, that would be we got young, controllable talent. I honestly feel like they're the same kind of fit. I mean, they're around the same age. Duran's a little bit older. than Bio. Bio's under control for a couple more years, but I guess if you were to trade for either of those players, it would be trying to find a new lease on life for both of them right now.
Yeah, and I think especially the reason why I would go with Brian Bayo is because I would rather a little bit of stability in this starting rotation. You have guys in this rotation right now. Nick Pivetta is not guaranteed to be pitching here next year. Michael King, if I remember his contract right, is not guaranteed to be pitching here next year. Yu Darvish doesn't have much longer on his contract. Joe Musgrove doesn't have much longer on his. So to get some stability in that starting rotation to where you at least have a 3 or a 4 and then build around that when you can go out and find a corner outfielder a little bit easier in other ways, I think that's more the reason why I would lean towards taking Brian Bayo in that spot.
I don't really for the Padres in a win now mode, you're trying to acquire guys that are going to help you immediately this year.
You really think you need another guy hitting under 200 in this lineup?
You think you need another guy with a 6.38 ERA? I mean, neither of them are helping you right now. That the trade for a Duran or a Bio would be, do we believe in the player more than the Red Sox believe in this player? I mean, Sonny Gray is having another excellent season. He's had an 8-1 record of 3.12 ERA, 13 starts, 8 quality starts, 17 walks, and 69 1/3 innings. I mean, he has been one of baseball's most efficient starters, but he's 36 years old. He's owed $31 million this year, $10 million buyout on a 2027 mutual option, and he controls where he goes because of the full no trade clause. If you were to acquire a guy like Sonny Gray as a rental, with the amount of money he has owed, I feel like it probably wouldn't cost you a huge prospect capital for him, but the only reason why that would go up is because of the fact that starting pitching is at a premium and you might get outbid by somebody else. But are you willing to take on, because you're going to pay a third of that contract that he's owed this year, which is $31 million. So you'd be paying like about 10. Is he worth $20 million for a second half of a season? I don't necessarily know if that's the case either.
Mm-mm.
And not if I have to give up like a Cash Mayfield or a Cruz Schoolcraft.
No, definitely not in that case.
Red Sox have some intriguing players. We haven't talked about Aroldis Chapman, even though the Padres have been linked to that. I just feel like if you're going to spend money in capital on a player at the deadline, you now have an opportunity in the position players to go find a position player, and you also have a massive problem with the starting pitching that needs to be fixed before you add to his strength like Aroldis Chapman. So I'm curious to see what they do. Obviously, Red Sox might have some players available. Might be intriguing to keep an eye on them. Tonight's game, JP Sears, Martin Perez. That is the pitching matchup. It's Padres. It's Braves. We'll get you the lineup in just a bit, but we got to get you the bold prediction. What do you think happens tonight?
2-hit day for Jace Bowen.
I like that.
2-hit day for Jace Bowen.
You want to go extra bold and say hits a home run?
No.
Okay.
I'm not crazy.
JP Sears, quality start.
Okay.
That's borderline crazy. But JP Sears, quality start. We have a lineup today for the Padres. Charge. 5 cents to Scravy. Fernando Tatis Jr. bats leadoff. He plays second base. Samad Taylor bats 2, plays left field. Manny Machado in the 3 spot. He plays third. Xander Bogaerts batting cleanup, plays shortstop. Jackson Merrill in the 5 spot is the center fielder tonight. Miguel Andujar bats 6th, and he will be the DH. Batting 7th at first base is Ty France. Batting 8th in catching, Freddie Fermin. And batting 9th in right field is Jace Bowen. That is the starting 9 for your San Diego Padres. Atlanta has not put out a lineup yet. Like the Padres put out a lineup extra early because of how late it was yesterday with all the roster moves they were making. Not only for the Pods, but like around the entire organization. Had so many roster moves yesterday.
Yeah, there were a ton. An actual ton.
Man, I really hope JP Sears has a good outing. Padres need some type of hope in the starting rotation right now, aside from Michael King and Walker Buehler.
They need to, they really need something. They need to find a third stopper in there somewhere.
We'll see how we do on the bold predictions. We will talk to you guys tomorrow on the round table. We will also have a jam-packed show tomorrow as well. hopefully the Padres get a sweep today. We'll see. Got the Dodgers coming in this weekend. Very important week continues for the Pods. For Frank Marchese, I'm Braden Surprenant signing off. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow at 10 in the morning.